Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get into after the weekend PGA Championship. Scottie Scheffler able to run away with it with a massive third round. And hey, just gotta go with an okay day on Sunday, and you feel pretty good when you can finish even for the day and still win a major championship. We'll talk about Scottie and the PGA Championship, Major League Baseball over the weekend, NBA playoffs over the weekend. Plenty to get to over these next 3 hours. We had the Preakness over the weekend as well. A really fun weekend in the sports world. Before we get to any of that, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Bryant. Everybody have a good weekend?
Oh, man, a great weekend. Honestly, I said this earlier to somebody, an underrated sports weekend, I thought, with just a lot of really good stuff.
It was terrific, and I watched a lot of baseball, a lot of golf, a little NBA, but yesterday was not that compelling.
Well, yeah, after about the third quarter, really about halfway through the third quarter, it was, we know how this is going. We can change the channel, go back to golf and see what Scottie's doing.
Won't spend a long time on it, but I thought our guest Friday, Dick Girardi, our horse racing analyst and expert, Hall of Fame writer, knows the sport so well. He was right. We got robbed on maybe. So what if we have two super horses? But you're not a super horse if you don't win the Triple Crown.
That's right.
You're not to 99% of us. Maybe to the 8 or 10 snoots that are horse racing aficionados that I'll hear from all of them today.
Of course.
About it. But we may have really gotten robbed with that hard right, though, the horse took against journalism and really cost him. But the jock's ride was so great Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I said this after we talked to Dick Girardi on Friday, and we made our picks for the Preakness. Going into that segment, obviously, I am the biggest, I don't know anything about horse racing, right? Like, I'll watch these races. I don't know much.
I watch 9 minutes a year.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And so before we talked to Dick Girardi, I'm going, well, journalism, he didn't win. He was second place at the Kentucky Derby. And then Dick Girardi comes on and goes, well, it was this other stuff going on that was the reason journalism didn't win. He's a great horse. He's going to win this weekend. And then, watching on Saturday, he was awesome. And it was really, really fun. Dick Girardi is just incredible. And then, what he was talking about with maybe we should spread this out a little bit more and have maybe 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks. I'm completely with him on that, because then I think, like you said, that will give us a better opportunity to see some of these horses, give it a go for that Triple Crown.
And the race coverage Saturday did not shy from Pimlico getting ready to get the bulldozer, and many on the air saying that it needs to go third, that the Belmont probably needs to go second in a new order. I know that's against a lot of tradition, but look, for horse racing to stay in the area code of relevancy, they might have to let go of what they deem a lot of tradition. Another thing I thought was great in the cover, I watched 9 minutes. I watched about 45 minutes of the pre-stuff for all three races, and I enjoyed it. But Pimlico's coming down, and it needs to. And Bruce Marshall was all over that on Friday.
Sure was.
And we always, as a show, we really debate, do we want to have Dick Girardi or a whole lot of horse racing talk for the Belmont if you're not going for a Triple Crown? We're going to. Great guest, and maybe two great horses. I think there's more intrigue this year in the Belmont than that you could have if it's not a Triple Crown year.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. First off, anytime we can have Dick Girardi on, I'm game for it. He is incredible. But yeah, I mean, when you have the opportunity to have, hey, this horse that won the Kentucky Derby but didn't want to run in the second leg of the Triple Crown because of how close it is. Let's see how legit he is. He gets to Belmont, and let's see, was that a fluke or was it, a real deal race for him? And then obviously journalism. I think everybody wants to see him run again, and then it will be the question of, if that didn't happen, if journalism can win two of the three, it is the what if. And so, yeah, I think you're right.
Even sovereignty.
Sure,
if it won, woulda, shoulda, and we'll never know. Here's what I know about the NBA Western and Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to have a seventh straight year of a seventh different champion.
That's right.
And we got 3 cracks at a new champion
You're right.
and one from a long time ago. The Knicks hadn't won it since 73.
Feels
and
like
Indiana
forever.
in the East and both participants in the West, Minnesota and Oklahoma City, never having won it. I did this quickly right before we came on when this thought hit. If we get if Indiana comes out of the East, well, we know we're going to get a first-time champion.
Yeah.
And I think I probably should have researched this better before I go out there with it. But I think it will be the first NBA Finals since '78 that you have both teams to have never won a championship in the finals. Seattle against the Washington Bullets that year, and then they met again the next year. Bullets won in '78. Seattle got it in '79. But the Bullets in the finals in '79 would count as they had previously won it. I went through this. I mean, it was really last year you had Boston. That speaks for itself.
Well, yeah.
Year before Denver, Miami. Well, Miami had won. Then Boston, Golden State, Milwaukee. And I went all the way back. I think that's the case. Since '78.
It's for I think fun teams. If they were to win it, it would be a fun story. It would be certainly different, like you said. Here's another thing, Brett, that I know you're going to be excited about. I saw this floating around. It seems like everyone's excited about it. The NBA has told all 4 teams left in the conference finals and NBA finals, wear your primary jerseys. We're not doing any of the City Connects or anything like that. Wear your home, wear your away, nothing more. So that will be something good for the conference final and the NBA finals.
Now, the next memo we need to go out from the league office. Start on time.
Well, yes.
It says 7. The ball is going up in the air at the latest 7:01.
Oh, but Brett, then we don't get as much pregame coverage. I mean, what are we gonna do?
Oh yeah, we can. You can start pregame coverage at 2:00 that morning.
Sure, that's right. You can start whenever you want. That's exactly right.
You can start it now you can start it now for game 1 of the finals if you'd like.
Wouldn't that be something? That'd be a lot of talk for the finals when we haven't even started the conference.
Sometimes I think the Tennessee Vol Football Network is on the air on Friday afternoon in pregame coverage.
Well, they might be.
But they're the best.
Speaking of that, speaking of the SEC, obviously SEC baseball tournament gets started later this week. Actually, it starts tomorrow. I saw someone post on Twitter, we already have one fan base tailgating, and of course, it's who you would guess. LSU already got tents up, ready to rock and roll for the SEC baseball tournament.
Might be a really good chance. I wouldn't say 50-50. I'd go 30%. They're still there from last year.
They might be.
They
honestly,
just hadn't left.
Just haven't left.
Party hadn't restarted. They never left.
Exactly. And, of course, nobody would know because nobody's there, but then everyone rolls back this week and they're like, hey, look, LSU, they've got their tents up. It's like, no, we've been here the whole time. You
God bless them. They're great.
It's hilarious. I saw that when I was driving in today, and they were like, of course, look at the first tent up at Hoover Met, and it was, of course, an LSU tent.
They rolled out to Omaha a couple years, 2 years ago.
That's right.
And they checked the leaderboard at Rocco's and laughed.
They sure did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Said, we break this by dark.
Yeah. And they pretty much did.
And then shattered it.
Shattered it completely. And
it wasn't Black American Express just buying the shots and not being consumed.
No.
They got consumed.
They were. It was a fun time to be an LSU fan in Omaha. It was a really good time.
They are something. LSU won't play until Friday.
I think so. I think that's right.
They don't play. Yeah, they're the 3 seed. They don't play till Friday night.
Wow.
So just think, if you're already there, all joking aside about being there since last year, they're there today, and they won't play before.
That's great. That's beautiful.
7:30, 8 o'clock Friday night.
That's beautiful. I mean, why not? Just, hey, get out there on Monday, have the whole week to just enjoy.
They keep it real.
They sure do. They absolutely do. And speaking of that, I don't want to turn this into an SEC baseball show by any means, but look out for that conference tournament. Single elimination, that's going to be impossible.
All right, may I be that guy?
Please.
We saw what baseball did, or basketball did, and got 14 in.
Yeah.
The SEC, unless something extraordinary happens, will only get 13 in baseball.
Yeah.
Softball got 14 of the 15 that plays. Vanderbilt doesn't play.
Yeah.
Did baseball come up a little short? Did it didn't get the right, and I'm not saying anything in basketball was arranged, but they didn't get like the sweep Mizzou had against A&M probably cost a team.
Yeah, I mean, we thought we were talking about it during basketball season of how they threaded the needle just perfectly. That'll never happen again. Where it was just
almost like it was orchestrated.
Every right thing that needed to go happened. So no, I don't want to say they came up short just because of how dominant SEC baseball is. Like, I mean, the teams that are going, I think, half of them have a shot of going to Omaha, if not maybe more. So yeah, but you're right. Missouri sweeping Texas A&M, that was a crusher.
That hurt them.
That was a killer. And I mean, bad time to be Texas A&M. Their softball team is the first team to be eliminated after being the number 1 overall seed in regionals. So yeah, not a great time to be an Aggie.
Trophy case sits empty in College Station.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I mean, it's starting to become all Texas A&M sports. It's preseason great, and then let it play out.
It really is.
Not great.
I'm seeing some way too early college football predictors saying 10-2 for A&M.
Of course you are.
I tried that again last year. I'm not going to do it.
Can't.
They'll burn me.
Oh, every year. I mean, we were in a 2 or 3 year stretch where we were going, Texas A&M are going undefeated this year. I mean, look at this roster. Look at their schedule. They're going to be great. And then, they go out.
We thought that till the end for Jimbo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, every year with Jimbo, it was like, wow, look at this team they've got. This is a great roster, not a super tough schedule. And then they would disappoint us every single year.
I like the idea in the NBA of something fresh. But there is a local angle to it, and I want to discuss it. I want people's feedback on it. In 2020 playoffs 2022, we thought Memphis, the Grizzlies, would be part of this fresh grouping. Okay, maybe not win it all and be one of the seven different in 7 seasons, but we were sure thinking maybe 8 or 9. Go out to 26 or 27. I don't think anybody that's at all realistic or somewhat sane thinking the Grizzlies are going to win it next year or in 28.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
26 or in 27, rather.
No, and it is. We talked about it last week where you go back to that series between the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, and it was, hey, look at these 2 teams with 2 young superstars. It feels like these could be 2 teams that are going at it a lot in the playoffs and both having success in postseason with kind of their young groups. And you look at Minnesota now, back-to-back Western Conference final appearances, and you look at the Grizzlies, back-to-back years where they're sitting at home at this point and really earlier than this point. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those where you look at Minnesota, you look at some of the moves they've made, how they've made their team better, and then you look at the Grizzlies where they've kind of sat still on a lot of things and haven't tried to go out and make the move. I mean, you think about it, earlier this year, before Luka gets traded to the Lakers, the Timberwolves probably made the biggest trade way early in the season when they traded for Julius Randle, traded Karl Anthony Towns over to the Knicks. They were out there moving. Karl Anthony Towns was one of their biggest pieces on the team. They say, we feel like we can be better if we get a guy like Julius Randle, a guy like Dante DiVincenzo in. They fit our system a lot more. They make that trade, and now you look both teams in that trade in their conference finals. So, yeah, I mean, it is one of those where it's hard to look back and think of kind of where those 2 franchises are right now.
This was supposed to be us.
Yeah. No, it was.
These were the sweet spot years that we were going to be primary.
Yep.
And, I mean, with just as ancillary, secondary as you can be.
Yeah. I mean, heck, Brett, I mean, it feels like, and it really was at this point, it feels like a month ago we were watching Grizzly playoff basketball. And now,
it feels like we went to Dayton.
It really does. I mean, hey, thanks for stopping in, Thanks for coming, and see you later.
Insert new coin.
And so, yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to this has got to be a big offseason for the Grizzlies because you see everybody in the West.
My question is why? And blame game. Big money being paid out. Blame game. I go back to my concurrent theme of mismanaged at the top by Wexler Kleiman.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it does start with the front office and some of the decisions that they've made. I mean, I just mentioned with Minnesota, they're going out here and trading all-stars to make their team better in their minds of, hey, this is a better fit for us. And the Grizzlies are sitting still. I think we saw this front office get a little complacent with this roster as a whole. We talk about earlier in the season, we were talking about how deep this team was, and then we find out at the end of the season, this team's not very deep at all. This team has a ton of flaws.
Not at all.
And this front office...
It's a good front-runner team.
Sure, but this front office said this team is good enough that we can stick with it, and very clearly they're not. And so, I think it definitely starts from the top.
In fairness, though, I was team sit still at deadline.
I wasn't. I wanted them to make moves so bad, and nothing crazy big, but just get some more pieces in here, and they clearly.
But the only firing has been the coach.
That's right. Well, and it's kind of going back to those higher ups. They're not going to fire themselves, and
they're sure not.
And they're all buddy in there.
So how are they held accountable?
Yeah, it's a great question. You would hope the owner is accountable, but he's never around. I mean, it's one of those things where blame game starts, and the easiest person to point at is the head coach.
With the crowning of the new NBA champion, whether it's the Knicks from winning it in '73 or the three newbies, we know we're going to have a first-time 21st century winner, and that will make 13 for the NBA that once did not let in a lot of new champions.
Yeah.
That will be 13. No, I'm sorry, it'll be 12. 12 for the NBA, NFL 13, college football 13, college basketball 13. So the NBA catching up on those other Major League Baseball at 16. Me keeping up with the 21st century. After we crown everybody this year for 2025, that'll be 26 years of this.
Sure.
Should I then just cut it down and just go the last 25 years? So that would cut out alt winners, and then after the next year, cut out 01.
Yeah, maybe. I think 25 years is a
That's
good sample size. Yeah. It's it's not 5 years.
It's relevant.
Sure.
It's not it's not talking about the 1948 Cleveland Indians winning the World Series over the Boston Braves.
Right. No, it's this era. This these teams.
Well, hell, in Arkansas, lefty Gene Bearden winning 20 games that year for Cleveland.
No, I'm good on that. I'll leave that to you. But yes, I think 25 years is good.
You can relate over 25 years.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, even if you're a 25 to 30-year-old sports fan, you've read and consumed and you think you know it, and probably do.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. 25 years feels like
but you can't associate with the Seattle Supersonics beating the Washington Bullets.
No.
Very few can.
That's a history book for people my age. So.
Dusty ones.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a really good sample size there. Well, we've got a really busy show today. Like I mentioned, a good sports weekend. We've got to talk all about it. So let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, we'll talk the PGA Championship, do a recap. What a fun weekend after we had our questions Friday afternoon. I go back to, I think it was what Dan Reardon said Friday afternoon when he said, this looks like a Friday leaderboard. He did say, now it looks more like a Friday leaderboard at the Century, but it does look like a Friday leaderboard. And he was kind of saying, settle down. Things could certainly change over the weekend, and they absolutely did. Huge third round by Scotty Scheffler. He goes on to win it. We'll talk about that in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball. The Orioles, they made the decision. They fired Brandon Hyde on Saturday, but the losing continues for them. We'll talk a little bit about that and rivalry weekend around Major League Baseball. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports. He'll join us to talk college football and college basketball. 4:30, we'll get to the NBA playoffs. We'll go back to Friday night when the Knicks knocked out the Celtics. Yesterday when the Thunder beat the Nuggets, and we'll start previewing the conference finals. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzly beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us. We'll talk Grizzlies with him, but we'll also talk the NBA and the 4 teams left standing. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pools starting at $19.99 installed, with liners starting at $299. All pool accessories now up to 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99, and swim spas and cold plunge tubs now $2,000 off. Don't forget about patio furniture. Select sets now up to 50% off. And if you mention this ad, get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Well, Brian, I got that first mistake of the week out of the way quickly.
Okay.
Heat, Dallas, and 06 both went into it having never won one. So that's more frequent than 1978, but still a while ago and still a lot of intrigue about these. He's Brian. I'm Brett. We're Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. We're produced by Landon Schmidt, and we're always in our Family Leisure Studios. And this hour always brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive-in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, the NBA playoff action over the weekend. It goes all the way back to Friday night, Game 6 in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks, they get the 119-81 win over the Boston Celtics. And the feeling Friday, really the feeling ever since Boston won Game 5, it was kind of an eerie feeling. It was Knicks, you better not lose Game 6 or it could get ugly for Game 7. But New York immediately put that to rest. A massive second quarter for them. Had Boston playing from behind, and something that we didn't talk about much is Boston really never played from behind in this series, and certainly without Jason Tatum. Now we know Jaylen Brown was playing through an injury that it was pretty much impossible for Boston. Once they were down double digits in that game, it was going to be really tough for them to come back, make up that deficit, and win that game. So the Knicks, they walk to the Eastern Conference Finals where they'll meet the Indiana Pacers in what I think will be a really fun, entertaining series. Then yesterday afternoon, the Nuggets on the road against the Thunder, a game where the Nuggets came out and looked good early, looked like it was going to be a back and forth game, and a game that the Nuggets could pull off. One thing that a lot of people had been talking about with this OKC team, questioning about this OKC team, was the battle scars, the playoff battle scars. Could they get through against a past champion, against what I consider the best basketball player in the world right now in Jokic? Probably won't win MVP this year, but he's still, I think, for my money, the best player on this planet. Could OKC get through and win a Game 7? They were able to do that. It was really incredible because if you looked at that game, if you were watching, and for me, it was like one time I looked down and I looked up and I felt like the score jumped by 20 points. With 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the second quarter, the Thunder led by 1 point. At halftime, they led by 14 points. That final 3 minutes, they went on a big run. They continued that run into the third quarter to win by a pretty wide margin over the Nuggets, 125-93. So now OKC advances. They'll play Minnesota, and really two teams that didn't get a lot of respect throughout the season and even early in the playoffs that have now been to back-to-back conference finals. Minnesota in the Western Conference, Indiana in the Eastern Conference. Brett, you talked about all of kind of the fresh teams, the fresh faces in these conference finals. I think it's going to be fun. The TV networks might not be loving it, but I think if you're a basketball fan, you're really going to enjoy these conference finals and ultimately the NBA finals.
I'm right there with you on it, going to enjoy it. I'm there with the top story. It's the NBA Western Conference, all set. Eastern Conference Finals, all set. NBA Final Four, all set with normal tip times. Why the West is still at 7:30 Central on TNT is beyond me, with two Central Time Zone teams in the Western Conference Finals. Why are we taking care of the Bay Area with Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Oklahoma City and Norman and Tulsa as the affected TV markets?
Yeah.
But we are.
Yeah,
and why are we doing it with TNT? Because there's no local or national news running at that time.
No, not at all.
Now, I can see 6 too early because they want the West Coast accommodated because of the large number of people. But I think they'd find a TV if their team's not in it. I don't get that, but mostly normal tip times. And I know the NBA's sick over no Lakers, no Golden State, no Clippers, but we do know they'll have a 7th straight different champ the last 7 years. And now we also know they'll have a first-time 21st century champ out of these 4 teams. Knicks back to 73. NBA not quite the secret society it once was. It's loosened up.
Sure has.
And I thought we were going to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, that's the unfortunate part of it.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, a little bit of Tiger basketball news earlier this afternoon. Matt Painter joined Andy Katz on his podcast and revealed that Memphis and Purdue are assured a matchup against each other in the Bahamas later this year to start the basketball season. He said, quote, on his podcast, "We're playing Memphis neutral and then either Wake Forest or Texas Tech." So it sounds like the first game of the Baha Mar Hoops Championship will be Memphis versus Purdue. He also said in that the 4th team that we did not know for that 4-team tournament will be Texas Tech. It felt like when the news that Memphis was going to be in it, felt like Texas Tech was the rumored team that everyone thought would be, but now Matt Painter at least pointing to that being the 4th team. So now you get a bit of a clear. You knew Memphis would play at least 2 of those 3 teams that would be in that tournament, but getting Purdue in the first game I think will be a good matchup. We'll ask David Cobb in the next hour how good Purdue will be. Obviously the last 3 years have been really good. What will they look like next season? We'll get David Cobb's thoughts on that, but fun to see Purdue. Also, speaking of Matt Painter, fun weekend with EYBL in town, a bunch of coaches in town. John Calipari, John Shire, Matt Painter was here, Pat Kelsey, a kind of a who's who in the coaching world. I believe Tom Izzo was also here, Kelvin Sampson, everybody
Jason, 17-year-olds.
That's right, everyone here recruiting, so it was cool to see them in the city.
My not top story, golf's second major, the PGA Championship. It was good on Sunday, but it was never great. Yesterday wasn't close to Sunday at the Masters, and it's a lot of reasons for that. Sunday at the Masters is up there with Super Bowl Sunday, Rose Bowl. Now, that's not on a Sunday, ever, hardly ever. No, never, going up against the NFL. But it's up there with the biggest sports events. There's no way to replicate that. You can't do it. Even if you had the same kind of dynamic around the players, that setting is what does it.
That's right.
Now, there's nothing wrong with the PGA Championship setup, and I really enjoyed that course all weekend. But there was no way for it to have the drama that the Masters had. And now we will see if we have any kind of dynamic like that around U.S. Open. Usually don't, because it's such a rock fight just to see who can kind of survive. And you never have that feeling around the Open Championship because it's so early that day.
That's right.
It's why the Masters is one of the special events in all of American sport.
It's incredible. And now, Brett, 2 majors down, and we know 2 confirmed winners that will be here for the FedEx St. Jude Championship.
Headed to
that's
Memphis.
Fun. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. When we come back, we'll continue with that PGA Championship topic. We'll recap the weekend and Scotty Scheffler's win. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
What happens to former real estate agents when they want to sell their homes? This is Sheldon Rosenberg, Ashley Shell Dunn, with Mark's Mansfield Realtors. I am so proud and feel so honored that former real estate agents contact me when they want to sell their homes. They know that I've been in the business for quite a while, have a great deal of experience, and know that I am good at marketing. Not merely putting a sign in the yard and looking at sales. Over the years, I have developed a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and you win. Talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure that I am one of them. So if you or somebody you know is thinking about selling a home, remember what other real estate agents have been in business with. Then call me, Sheldon Rosenberg, at 483-0546, or email me at memphisrelocate.com. I will wait to hear from you to take advantage of this good market. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Thank you.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I plug mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Five-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise East on Poplar are by far the most popular local breakfast and lunch destinations in Memphis. If you haven't been to either Sunrise location, then your friends and coworkers know something you don't. There is simply nowhere else in Memphis where you get such a high-quality breakfast or lunch made fast, fresh, and just for you. People you know are talking about you behind your back because you haven't tasted the deliciousness that is Sunrise. And there are two of them. One of them has to be close to you, and you still haven't had the best breakfast or lunch in town. For shame. For shame.
Hey, Rock and Ronnie, you got a new showroom. Let's wait time for service and some amazing deals over there at Gossett Hyundai South Mount Moriah.
Randy, we've got it going on at Gossett Hyundai South of Mount Moriah. 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE, $288.75 per month and 3.99% for 72 months is available. How about a 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe SEL, $349.89 per month and 3.99% up to 60 months is available. Plus, 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT all-wheel drive, now just $37,180.
And you always get peace of mind with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
And remember, fast, no-wait service on the ride every day.
So get to Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah, online, HyundaiMountMoriah.com. Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South. The size isn't the only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Total membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Good afternoon. TDOT's on the scene of an oversized load. This happens quite a bit over here on 55 northbound at 3rd. It's got traffic pretty slow in this area. We're concerned about it being southbound, of course. That's where the heaviest traffic flow is, but it's in the northbound lanes on 55, an oversized load right near 3rd as traffic picks up on 240 getting on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them this week and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports Efficiency. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here on your host, Sports Movie, Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local from our Family Leisure studio. Scotty Scheffler, he gets the win, a massive third round for him. Just a fine day yesterday, even for the day, but based on where we were Friday afternoon at this time to where we finished off with that final round where you had Scotty, you had John Rahm, you had Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, you had some big names in there on Sunday. So it was a lot more entertaining than I think we thought it might be Friday afternoon.
It got good middle kind of coverage yesterday.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be a cakewalk. In the end, winning by 5 clear.
Kind of was.
Isn't that a cakewalk?
It was weird because it really did feel like Scotty kind of came out and was like, I just got to be okay today. Like I can cakewalk through this, and I can just sleepwalk through this round and be fine. And then we got to a point where, John Rahm, here he comes, and they're now tied. And then you saw from that moment, Scotty Scheffler said, I'm the best golfer in the world. Here I go. Let me get these strokes back. And then you saw John Rahm just completely fall off the face of the earth at the end of the round.
And this is now 2 Sundays in a final round. The first time at the Masters for Scotty Scheffler's second Masters win, Rahm entered the day with the lead that day. Yeah. He has smacked him around twice now on Sundays.
Yeah, and I think, it just goes back to, I think it's a couple things, but I think, Scotty Scheffler, he is showing why he is one of the best golfers in the world right now, and maybe, getting close to that of all time category. Not the best, but in the category of one of the best golfers, with just how he's playing and kind of being able to flip that switch.
Plenty
and say,
of time to do it.
Sure.
But some work to do. He's got to do it. What he has now accomplished, I was thinking, I joined a show yesterday morning, a friend of mine's show in Little Rock, and we were talking about it, and I said, today, with the two Masters, but only at one place, he was a little bit like that heater for 2 to 4 years that Johnny Miller got on, where he won just 2. He won the U.S. Open at Oakmont in 73, and then he won an Open Championship a few years after that. But he won a lot of regular tour events and was the big thing, and then was off the scene.
Right, yeah.
Scotty Scheffler's not going anywhere. And you can make a strong case that so far this year, like the year has been pretty emblematic of his Masters. He was good. He wasn't great. He's been good this year. He wasn't great yesterday.
Really, Brett, he wasn't great all weekend other than Saturday. He was phenomenal Saturday. He was unbelievable 65. Saturday. But, Thursday wasn't happy, 2 under. Friday, it was just kind of like an okay.
68.
Exactly. Yeah. Then Sunday, he's phenomenal. And then yesterday, he's okay. I said this earlier. I follow a guy on Twitter that covers golf for CBS Sports, and I have his tweet notifications on. And he tweeted at some point, I think they were through 7 or 8 holes, and he said, really, has Scotty Scheffler had one good shot today? Like, it just feels like he's just out there today. And that really was...
Had a bad case of the lefts.
Sure did. He really did. But
the only thing worse than a bad case of the lefts is a bad case of the rights.
Well, that is... you're right about that. But ultimately was able to do what he needed to do and gets another major. So, great weekend for him.
And now 2 of the 4 the slams. And Brian, I am really sorry that on first show of the new calendar year, I predicted Scotty Scheffler is going to win the Grand Slam this year. Well, miss it, Augusta. Right. There goes that. Then Rory McIlroy wins at Augusta, and I bought into and thought Rory's going to do it. And it was set up wheelhouse for him. At Quail, where he's won so much and so popular and so at ease. U.S. Open at Oakmont, perfect for him. A British Open in Northern Ireland, even better. How silly. I will never go slam talk again, and here's why. Here's why there's not going to be a slam, ever. Not by Rory McIlroy, not by Scotty Scheffler, not by that 10-year-old that's setting out there that's going to be great someday, or that 20-year-old that's getting ready to play in the NCAA championships, or whoever's going to come out of the USAM this August is going to win it. You know why nobody's going to win a slam?
Why is that?
If Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods couldn't do it, it can't be done.
That's a great point. When the two greatest
golfers
cannot
be
ever,
done if they can't do it.
That's right. Yeah, if those two can't do it, nobody's doing it. And
because you can have all the debate of which one of those two is the best and which second. That's fine. Have at it. I could argue both sides of it till I'm blue in my face. I could, if I had to be on Team Golden Bear, I think I could make a great case. If I had to be a Team Big Cat, Tiger Woods, I think I could make a case. There's no case for anybody else.
No.
And they couldn't do it.
No. It's impossible. And you're right. If those two can't do it, nobody can. But the weekend for Rory, it was ugly.
The whole week. And with the driver examination, we'll talk a lot with John Gowen about that on Wednesday. That was a very USGA.
Sure was. It sure
kind of move. Now, he wasn't alone. Scotty Scheffler was even subjected to it. But first thing I'm going to ask John when we get to that topic on Wednesday, was it the actual driver or was it in your head of not saying you're cheating, but boy, I had old Reliable in my hands,
That's right.
Walking out there with a green jacket. Now, and those guys are so good. It's like the baseball players. You could blindfold a Major League Baseball player. And you could go through the bat rack and you go, that one's 37, that one's 34, that one's 35, close to 30. They know those pro golfers on any of that equipment, just in their hand, it feels, it comes off different to them. Any modification, any change, and I just wonder. And we know Rory can get a little neurotic. Well, that's a heavy word.
Well, I mean, it's pretty accurate. I mean, and I think that could be part of it is
nobody was saying he was cheating.
No, not at all. But you're right. I mean, when you're comfortable with one, and at the Masters, he was dialed in with his driver. I mean, he was phenomenal. And then you get a different driver in your hands. I think a little mentally can hurt you a little bit.
There's no way if blindfolded, could you tell the difference between a 6 and 7 iron?
Absolutely not.
None.
Not at all.
I guess it would have to be. Of course, nobody in the world carries a 1 or 2 iron or 3 iron anymore.
No.
Why would you?
No.
Because nobody could hit them.
Not at all. But you're right. I mean, these guys, they are tuned in to everything that's in their bag. And so, yeah, I mean, if you change
blindfolded,
like that,
I would know the difference. I could tell the difference in a driver.
Sure.
And 7 iron.
Of course. But that's about it. That's about all I
guarantee
I
you we got a lot of people right now go, I could.
Oh, yeah.
I'd know the difference between
man,
a 6 and 7.
easily.
I could tell. No, you couldn't. No, you could not.
It's impossible. It is impossible. But, yeah, and then I saw that Rory declined media after all 4 rounds. Did not talk to the media.
Not a great look there.
No.
Now, he was not obligated by
Right.
virtue of where he was in the standings. And, you know, I still think more is better than less. And you know, go out there and talk it out a little bit. And but he might have avoided it because he was running hot over the examination. But I don't know why each and every week, every single driver in every bag is not tested, where nobody feels like they were under any cloud or scrutiny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a good idea, right? Like, you know, I don't know how much time that would take and how tedious that would be, but you know, I think it would help out a
golf
little
can
bit.
get tedious.
Very tedious, very tedious. But no, it was a weird weekend for Rory, and it was a weird weekend from the start. I mean,
from this point on, over the next 10 years, how many more for Scotty Scheffler? He's got 2 more this year, and then I guess it would be 30. He's got 38 majors left over the next 10 years. How many more does he win?
Jeez, that's like
Does he get into double digits?
That's an impossible question. I'm gonna say no on the double digits. I mean, that just seems
the no
seems
bet's
so
always
hard.
safe.
I'll say this. I think at some point we're having the conversation of career Grand Slam. Like I think
career. Yeah,
I think he can do that.
But I'm never wading off into a slam talking ever again.
No. But it's kind of like the same thing with horse racing, right? Like whoever wins the Kentucky Derby, it's like, well, even before the Kentucky Derby,
the only one that can.
Exactly. Yeah. Before the Kentucky Derby, we're all going journalism. He could win the Triple Crown. This is this great horse. Yada yada yada. Then you've got the winner of the Kentucky. What was his name? Sovereignty. I don't even remember who won the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Then we're all saying, oh man, Sovereignty. He's got the opportunity now to win the Triple Crown. It's kind of the same thing with golf. As you go into the season, you're like, this golfer's dialed in. He could do it. Then whoever wins the Masters, it's like, oh man, 1 down, 3 to go. So it's just one of those, like, it's fun to talk about. It's fun to hope for.
In the 70s, watching Wide World of Sports, and it was just such limited sports coverage. We just watch anything and take it all in. But Wide World of Sports was heavy on track and field, the Olympics in 72 and 76 for me, and then again in 84. And I really did. Of course, I couldn't run to the end of the block then, and sure couldn't now. But I really liked the long-distance runners, and there was a great long-distance runner, Kip Keino from Kenya. And he could just run all day and not even be breathing hard. There were great American long-distance runners like Marty LaCory and former Congressman Jim Ryan. And that's what Scotty looked like most of the
Mm-hmm.
weekend. He was just letting those guys go out there and
right.
burn themselves out.
That's
And
right.
they're just trotting along, and then, bell lap, here they come.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it Friday of like, hey, Scotty's in a perfect spot right now. He was 4 under at that point, and you're going, okay, it feels like once we get to the weekend, Scotty's going to say, okay, let me stop playing around, let me go out and do this, and credit to him, he went out there and did it.
What I love about him, and I don't, it's a little Tom Watson, it's a little Hale Irwin. We'll bring this up with John too on Wednesday. I like that he just lets his golf do his talking.
That's right. Yeah, I was talking to Darian earlier today. And
he's not worried about TikTok hits.
Yeah, and one thing Darian said is when we were talking earlier, he was like, I didn't realize how humble he is. And that, like, at one point he was asked, someone compared him to Tiger and someone else, and he was like, well, let's calm down with that. But, that's the thing about him is you never see anything away from the golf course. It's all just, hey, unless he's getting arrested
he
when
handled it great.
It was phenomenal. But and that's the only thing we've seen from him.
I've been guilty of not handled it as well as he handled it.
That's right. He was phenomenal. And even the greatest clip of that interaction was when the cops have no idea who he is, and they're like, well, you're playing on the PGA Tour, you must be pretty good. And he's like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay.
He never played. You know who I am.
No. And so just for him to do that, it's great.
When he set his baby down in the scoring room, like it was a jumbo-sized bag of shag balls.
That's right.
He just set his baby down in the pro shop.
He just shows up, he does his job, and he leaves. It really is. It's cool to see. So another major for him, and it was fun to watch over the weekend with the PGA Championship. Let's go ahead get to another break. When we return, we got to talk baseball rivalry weekend over the weekend. It was fun. Not all necessarily rivalries, but they were some fun matchups. We also have another manager fired. The Orioles made the decision to part ways with manager Brandon Hyde. We'll talk all of that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
So this month, we, of course, celebrate the World Championship of Barbecue.
Yes, at Tiger Lane.
And if you're on a barbecue team, we wish you the very best.
I do not like where this is going.
We wish you the very best at being second.
Oh, this is bear poking.
Because the best barbecue in Memphis is, and has been for a long time, to be found at Central Barbecue.
Barbecue contestants take this very seriously.
Central Barbecue takes barbecue more seriously than anyone.
These are not people you want to make mad.
I don't want to make them mad. I just want them to be prepared to be outdone by Central Barbecue.
And I want everyone to know that I did not write this.
And it's really not even fair.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 912715199.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 946-1101. That's 946-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 946-1101. That's 946-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 946-1101. Bill at I Buy Houses.
K4 SEO 39894, MSRP 25840, K5 S5312 782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597 965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 must finance through KFA, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, the scoop is you get a 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than a latte a day at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Less than $6 a day at $169 a month. Plus a 2025 Kia K5 GT line, $185 a month. Got a big family? 2025 Telluride EX front-wheel drive sits at 8 and has more power and larger cargo area than a Nissan Pathfinder. That's 2025 Telluride EX, $378 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So if you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. The commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue six-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports 56. 5 o'clock. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Gates.
Well, we had another manager fired over the weekend in Major League Baseball. The Orioles, the team that a lot of people thought last year were going to be really good, and they were, and a lot of people thought they were going to only continue to improve this season. I was one of them. I picked them to go very deep before the season. I did acknowledge that their pitching staff was horrible, horrendous.
And the ballpark's not built for
and
one.
The ballpark is really not. But they make a change. Brandon Hyde, he is out. Baltimore, 15-30 right now, currently riding a 6-game losing streak over the weekend against Washington, outscored 24-13 in a 3-game series. Just bad baseball being played right now by Baltimore.
They played like a team that the manager just got fired.
That's right. They absolutely did.
There was no rebound effect whatsoever. I had Baltimore as wild card 1 in the American League. I stopped at the divisional series, had the Yankees beating them. I'm glad they didn't get me all the way out. And they're the baseball definition of the Keith Smith window.
Oh, yeah. No,
that window is never as open as you think it is.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, you look at there's a couple of teams in Major League Baseball where it felt like, look at these young stars, look at how good this team can be going forward, and you're seeing the Reds was a team that a lot of people talked about with their young players. They have not lived up to it. You're seeing now with Baltimore and their really young team and young offensive stars, they're not living up to it right now. I mentioned that pitching rotation. I mean, you look at some of these guys, they go out, their big offseason acquisition was Charlie Morton. He's been so bad that they've had to put him in the bullpen. He was awful as a starter this year, a 10.22 ERA as a starting pitcher this year. They sent him to the bullpen. They're the worst pitching staff in all of Major League Baseball, worse than the White Sox, worse than Colorado, worse than Miami. I mean, it has been really, really bad this year for Baltimore. And it's kind of
release Kyle Gibson.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you got to do something. Manager's the one to go.
I don't know how the money works. You sure wouldn't for anything approaching big money. But Kyle Gibson was a battler, competitor last year for the Cardinals.
He was.
I just wonder if the Cardinals, might take a swing at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. Like you said, I certainly don't have the financials down on what that would look like, but yeah,
it would have to be cheap.
It would have to be cheap. And right now, you look at the Cardinals. I mean, things are going well right now. Pitching has been pretty solid for the Cardinals. I mean, you look at that series over the weekend against the Royals. Not many runs scored in any of those games. It was a lot of low scoring baseball. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that if you see you need a pitcher and he's would sign for cheap. Then yeah, I mean, I'd be completely fine with it.
And I know what a Monday night, how that is around sports for anybody that plays with the frequency that the NBA or college basketball or the bigs in baseball, what they play. But tonight will be a pretty good test case just to see if anybody's starting to warm up and come back against the Detroit Tigers, best record in baseball, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 660 baseball. Tigers in town, a tougher gauge Monday night.
Yeah.
School's kind of in an iffy spot.
Sure.
Most
Kinda
out, some
last
still
week,
in. Yeah, some of that. So you'll let's see if these sparse crowds that, in all honesty, for a lot of these games, like tonight on Monday and Tuesday night, it's really been about around 15 or 16,000 in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's been tough. And I think, you certainly got to give the Cardinals credit. I mean, I remember us talking about this road trip, and at the time, going into this road trip for the Cardinals, they were, playing 500 baseball. And, we kind of talked about it, and, we felt pretty good about, maybe you get things going on the road and you have you're above 500 coming back, that maybe that could bring more people with the team playing well. Well, now you look at them 26 and 21 on the season, playing really well right now. You just had that long win streak. So, hopefully, maybe not tonight. Monday's very tough, but hopefully as this week progresses, you see a lot of people go out and support because, the Cardinals are playing really well right now. I mean, you watch them. It's fun baseball. Oh, I mean, it's been great.
Defense, middle relief pitching, Helsley in the ninth, starting pitching.
Really good. The bats, I mean, it's everybody.
Hit and run, situational. They really are. It's been, if anything, it's been without a big home run.
That's right.
Surge.
Yeah, no, it has been. And, hopefully that comes, Obviously you got a couple guys, but, this isn't a lineup that's full of home run power. And so, I think it's good to see them being able to generate runs without the long ball.
Won Friday night in a wild game, then win Saturday in one zip. That's when you're pretty good when you win in a couple of different styles.
It's pretty good. And then, yesterday, obviously a loss, but another, really close game, low-run game. So, no, I've been really impressed with the Cardinals. What'd you think? Okay, rivalry weekend behind us. What was your grade on MLB rivalry weekend?
I loved it.
Oh, it's great.
I thought the weekend, I watched a lot
really good.
Of big league baseball.
It was really good. And kind of like what we talked about on Friday, not all of these are rivalries, and I saw a lot of jokes being made about the names and some of these things, but they were intriguing matchups, and I thought some really, really good baseball.
I think Mets and Yankees probably the best.
It was awesome. It was awesome. That game last night was really good until the 8th inning, and the Yankees ran away with
not
it.
good.
Pete Alonso, I mean, throwing it to Queens from first base, and it was
lucky not to be injured on that bang play at first.
Man, that was scary.
Both of those guys were lucky.
That was really scary. I was concerned. The way Alonso got up, I was a little worried that maybe he got hurt.
I thought both
on that
of
play.
them had shredded knees or ankles.
Yeah, no, that was really scary. But no, a really fun weekend in Major League Baseball, and some good games tonight, some good series getting started, including Cardinals hosting the Tigers. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, wrap up this first hour, and when we return, we're talking college football and college basketball. David Cobb from CBS Sports. He joins us next.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time
time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free Green Egg Grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one. No problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls out here in the last few minutes. Midtown traffic's trying its best to get a little bit heavy southbound on 240 as you work your way past Lamar. It's gotten a little bit busier in the construction, which has been moving fairly decent actually on 55 north and southbound between Macklemore and South Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters this coming bridal season. Stop by and see them, and you'll save a lot of money by shopping local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now from CBS Sports, where he covers college football and college basketball. David, how's it going? I want to start with some college basketball before we get to any football. We knew Memphis would be in a tournament with Purdue, Wake Forest. It was long thought that Texas Tech would be the fourth team at Baha Mar. Now Matt Painter earlier today on Andy Katz's podcast said that Texas Tech would be the fourth team in that field and that Memphis and Purdue will meet in the first game of that tournament. What do you think of a field that has Memphis, Wake Forest, Purdue, and Texas Tech, and how good will Purdue be this year?
Well, you're going to need more than just Aaron Bradshaw, or you're going to need Aaron Bradshaw to be next level, because you think about Purdue, they're going to have Trey Kaufman-Wren, probably going to be a preseason All-American in the front court. He's not Zach Edey, but he's pretty effective in the paint. And then we all know the financial figures surrounding J.T. Toppin at Texas Tech. I mean, that's a lot to ask. You could potentially play both those teams if you're Memphis. And you got one front court player right now. I mean, let's be honest. I realize Zachary Davis is tall. I realize Hassan Abdul-Hakim from UT Rio Grande Valley is tall. But and for that matter, Aaron Bradshaw is tall, but he's not a bruiser. And going up against a Trey Kaufman-Wren and a J.T. Toppin, boy, that's going to be tough. So you really got to hope this Dane Danger waiver gets approved, because that's a great field, to say nothing of Wake Forest, but could be a real test of your interior.
What would you rank the percentages on Dane Danger and his appeal being allowed, and he plays next year for the Tigers?
I don't know. I'd say about 40-60, like maybe a 40% chance it gets approved, because, if you really get down to the letter of the law, his freshman season, his true freshman season, didn't count, but it didn't count for anybody because it was COVID. And then that second year, he transferred out on his own volition from Baylor. So, technically speaking, I think that, that second year is a sort of a tough case to make because he chose to leave mid-season. However, when you really look at it practically, he's played 3 seasons of college basketball. So many of the players in his era have played 5. Why shouldn't he be allowed to play 4 when everybody else was allowed to play 5? Like, I think if you look at it from a 10,000-foot perspective, it makes all the sense in the world why he should be cleared to play next season. But when you really look at it, technically speaking, by the letter of the law, very judiciously, it gets a lot harder to make the case.
What kind of cases do we have any precedent? What's kind of the last one of this model? And should the Tigers or his representatives, assisted by the Tigers, start screaming right now, you better approve him or we sue, we sue, we sue.
Oh, yeah.
Because the NCAA runs and they're 0 for life in lawsuits.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's brilliant. You go ahead and, Penny did it with the selection committee. He was bemoaning the selection process and letting everyone know well in advance that he thought Memphis was being untreated fairly by the selection committee. And then, lo and behold, you do enough grumbling on the front end, and then Selection Sunday comes around, and they don't want to have to deal with you. So they actually give you a more favorable seating, something closer to what you deserved. And they should, by all means, yeah, I agree, Brett. Like, get the lawyers on speed dial, go ahead and let them know. Like, you go down this route with Dane Danger, it's going to be another lawsuit. And, look, I think he'd have a pretty good case because again, 10,000 feet away, he played 3 seasons, right? Now, obviously, those first 2, one's COVID, one's the red shirt by choice. But, make a big noise about it. This is huge. It's huge. Memphis' season depends on Dane Danger getting this waiver approved. Their season, their success, their ambitions are riding on Dane Danger being able to play. So you got to bust out all the stops here. It's not like, whatever, we get him, we get him. No, we're talking about a potential conference player of the year here, and you got to be able to bust out all the stops to make that happen.
David, I surely understand middle to late May, but when you say their season depends on it, you mean ultimate NCAA tournament success or even modest to decent success in the AAC?
Oh, if they don't have Danger and they don't have Haggerty as well, and there's no other knight in shining armor who comes from the portal, then, yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle to make the tournament. To build an at-large resume, you're going to need Doug McDaniel to just have an unbelievable season. You're going to need Aaron Bradshaw to play out of his mind when this is a guy who's never played more than 20 minutes a game his first 2 seasons of college basketball. He's got to take that Dane Danger leap and then some. So, yeah, without Danger's waiver being approved, I think Memphis is going to have a hard time making the NCAA tournament. I'm not saying they won't do it or can't do it. I still think they could. But, man, it's just going to be a lot harder.
David, I want to go back to Purdue for just 1 second because you're talking about their size. Let's not forget that they have a 7'4" center on their roster that is going to be a sophomore next year. And I'm just saying, Zach Edey was a little-known sophomore at one point that not many people were talking about and then became the back-to-back player of the year. Daniel Jacobson, maybe he goes on the same track. We know that Purdue loves some big men.
Yeah, good call, Brian. They collect them. It's
they sure do.
They try and find them. I'm surprised they didn't get the 7'7" kid from Montreal who ended up at Florida.
Right. Ryu.
And then you can always count on Purdue and Matt Painter having really high quality bigs. And then the big one is that they got Braden Smith back too.
Right.
And so they're going to be preseason top 5. You get Trey Kaufman-Renn, Braden Smith, 7'4" guy.
Is Fletcher Lawyer back too?
Fletcher Lawyer's going to be back too. Purdue's going to be. You're going to see them top. You might see some people have them number 1. Really a tough matchup because you're going up against a team like that has their established culture, a lot of returning players. Typically speaking, you would think that would be a tough matchup in a November, December type of situation. Of course, Memphis went to Maui last year and just really played well. So with a totally new team, you never know, but at least on paper anyway, Purdue should be really, really good.
Yeah, and that Maui trip, everybody just kind of on pins and needles of don't go 0-3. 1 and 2's fine. go out there and go 2-1 against two big boys. David Cobb, our guest on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Come on, David, give the people what they want. You need to do a column with a way too early top 25 in football and in basketball.
Ooh, yeah.
I know. I got one more week of paternity leave, so then I'll be I'll be back cranking them out.
You got all these column ideas ready to roll, don't you? Wingtip to wingtip.
Yeah, no shortage. There will be no shortage, even this time of year. I don't think, in terms of things to write about and get into. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It's well, we're in that purgatory now. I mean, we're still what you got the countdown, Brett. What are we? 94 days until week 0.
96, but who's counting?
Yeah, 96 until week 0. So a lot of preview content to get into.
For sure, David. With that, in all seriousness, we talked. Brian and I talked last week about NIL has really helped college basketball. Right now, I'm not talking most popularity and who makes, but what of the two sports, college basketball or college football, what's kind of got stronger underpinnings? Which one's really doing better than the other one?
Well, I'll say football, and the reason for that is because college sports, not just college football, but college sports as a whole, are the value of the college football games and the value that those TV rights bring, and what when this house settlement goes through, the money that they're going to be using to pay the players is going to be directly associated with the TV money, and that's all coming from football. And so, if you're asking me, like, if push came to shove, and you ask these athletic directors, okay, you can only have one you got to cut all the rest of them. 90% of them are going to keep football. The ones that would keep basketball might be Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, maybe a couple of others, but everybody else would say, okay, well, sorry, softball, sorry, men's tennis,
Memphis.
Sorry, rowing. We got to keep football. So I'll say football for that reason.
Yeah. I think Memphis under that dynamic would probably have to keep basketball, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's closer than it's ever been, isn't it, in Memphis? I mean, because of the sustained success of a decade of really quality football under 3 coaches, multiple double-digit win seasons, a Cotton Bowl trip, a really sustained run of high-quality quarterback play. I mean, it's closer than it's ever been in terms of the value of football versus the value of basketball in Memphis.
And both coaches almost are on parallel tracks. Penny Hardaway and Ryan Silverfield. All right, with the specter of it being mid to late May. Which one needs the bigger year next year, Silverfield or Hardaway?
Yeah, to me, it's Silverfield. The payoff, the potential payoff of a banner football season is tremendous. I mean, you think about all of a sudden, I mean, you make yourself really attractive if you make the playoff to another conference. And just, the season ticket sales, which are such a big part of your revenue, and if you're able to get that up and increase the price on that and get people in this renovated stadium with excitement, I mean, the potential payoff of football success is just so high. I mean, it is in basketball too, but it could be athletic department defining in a lot of ways if it comes in football.
Yeah. Oh, you're absolutely right. Hugh Freeze spoke last week at a golf tournament pro-am and said that he feels like Auburn needs to make it to a bowl game this year, and also said that he should get a little bit of he didn't really say this, but he basically said he should get some slack because recruiting was awful before him, but now he's had 2 years to recruit top 10 recruiting classes, and so that their expectations should start now. What did you make of those, especially in this day and age of transfer portal? It feels like maybe high school recruiting, important, but not as important in terms of turning around a program.
Well, I know Hugh's been going through a lot. He's got some health issues, and so, you got to give him some grace a little bit. But, yeah, man, you better make a bowl game. I mean, year 3 at Auburn? You kidding me? It should be more like, hey, we got to make the playoff. Mm-hmm. And then also, this is not 2012. You don't get the excuse of, well, I got to get my guys in here. And
I need 3 or 4 years to get them in and develop them.
I mean, look at Ole Miss. Look at the school where you once coached. Is that true of Lane Kiffin? No, it's not. So why should it be true of Auburn? I mean, he's just totally underselling where he should be and what it should be right now. And boy, I love watching their golf swings. A lot of ugly golf swings on those SEC football coaches.
Woo, especially Coach Freeze at the top, isn't it? Woo.
Yeah,
man,
it's hideous.
That's almost Jim Furyk meets who was the guy that almost jumped up and down a few years ago? Was kind of came and went on tour.
Oh, Matthew Wolf. Matthew Wolf.
Thank you. I mean, he kind of does a pirouette at the top, doesn't he?
Yep, he does. It's a Jim Furyk Matthew Wolf hybrid. There you go.
It really is. And I mean, Gary McCord once said Jim Furyk had more moving parts in his swing than a Pep Boys.
Oh, geez.
Oh, amazing. Got to see him in Memphis a few times and see it in person, too.
Yeah.
But you know where it really matters, and Coach Freeze knows enough about it and plays at a high level and really likes to play golf at a really good level for an amateur, and, a guy that's really busy a lot of times doesn't get to play or practice near as much as I bet he'd like to. Jack Nicklaus said it did not matter what you did with that takeaway, and he'd hold his hands up about yay far. I'm holding mine up a little more than shoulder width. He said at the bottom, that's all that matters, at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten into this, super slow Hideki Matsuyama, real slow take back. Anyway, it works for me. It's not pretty, but it works for me.
That's all that matters, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to make it. You got to make it work for you, David. You mentioned the job that Lane Kiffin's done. Not going to be near the summertime love this summer than it was last summer. I think it's going to be some summertime interest and and we'll warm up to them when you actually start playing as the year comes along. I have said, I promise you, and this is not with Homer hat on whatsoever, I've said at the end of September, the story of the September of college football is going to be Lane Kiffin's done it again. If he does it again, and what he's already done, he's made it tough on some of his colleagues, hasn't he?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, especially in the SEC, because he, in this scenario, actually, he's already done it, regardless of where they are in September. To this point, he has already taken what historically would be regarded as a lower half of the conference job and elevated it into a sustained model of success in a program that is now operating in the upper half of the conference. And, so if you're Eli Drinkwitz or Shane Beamer, for crying out loud, Jeff Lebby has just a huge gap to make up in that rivalry right now. And then you're Auburn, you're going in the wrong direction. You're
Arkansas,
Oklahoma,
wrong direction.
Sure, no doubt. Yeah, it does. It puts the pressure on the other coaches in that league. I look around the conference this year, and I'm thinking, something has got to give because Missouri and South Carolina, they don't want to go anywhere. They think they should be just as good this next season as they were this past season when they won 10 games. Tennessee fans, they don't want to go anywhere. Kentucky fans think they're going to be back. Florida thinks they're due to break through. So does LSU. Alabama's thinking, well, we're going to have a much better season in year 2 under Kalen DeBoer. And then, I'll put Ole Miss in that category. They want to win 10 games again. They think they should be competing for the college football playoff. Who's going to lose the games in the SEC? That's somebody's going. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Mark Stoops doesn't want to go out this way, but Venables wants to hang on at OU. Vandy's had a taste of it. You're so right. And I said when we went to just 1 through 16, no divisions, I said this is going to make it so much tougher. The psychology of fans, the psychosis of fandom, because you could get comfortable. And let's say in the SEC West during the Coach Saban years, you knew they were going to be 1 or 2. Well, you could get comfortable and go, okay, we were SEC West 3. We were a competitive 4. You could kind of live with that. You look down there now and you go, we were SEC 11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's not very much fun.
No, and even with an 8-game conference schedule, it's harder because, generally speaking anyway, you're going to have a harder schedule with Texas and Oklahoma now in the conference. You don't get the patsies that you could always count on as easy dubs anymore as frequently. And especially if they were to go to 9, then all of a sudden the Mark Stoops automatic raise and extension for reaching a bowl, that's a lot harder to achieve. If you're Mississippi State, all of a sudden making it to a bowl, you're Arkansas, it's a lot harder to achieve. You get the money and the clout and the respect of being in the SEC, but the results, man. I mean, I think winning is fun. That's why it's like, I've always been kind of, like these ACC schools, for example, Florida State, Clemson. Oh, they're trying to get out, whatever. Like maybe they're going to make their peace with the ACC and stay. I mean, it looks good right now, but these last couple of years they've been banging on the doors to get out of the ACC. And I'm like, man, you got to be careful what you wish for because you have it made in the ACC. You're the highest spender, the most sustained success of anybody in that league. You can pretty much win 10 games, 2 out of every 3 seasons or more. But you go to the SEC, sure, you get a bigger paycheck, but you're going to take a lot more losses. Is that fun? Like, is that what you want as a fan? I don't know. So, I don't know. I've always just kind of thought winning is fun. And, like, I don't know, being a part of a conference is great and all, but I think you should be somewhere where you can win. And, obviously, like, for Memphis' sake, like, I'd love for them to get in another league, but, it's just going to be harder. It's going to be a lot harder if you do.
David, you just brought up, and if they had another scuffling year or a really subpar year, I think Arkansas fans are right there with that. And I could turn on the Little Rock talk shows a lot of nights after we got off the last 2 or 3 years. And 2 or 3 years ago, when I first heard it, it was just ones and twos, callers and some hosts. And then it's built over the years of, is this SEC really what we want?
Right. Yeah, go to the Big 12. I mean, Arkansas would be a
more
perfect
geographical.
It
makes more sense for that. I've heard people longing for that, but then the nuclear bomb that gets set is when they at Destin in 2 weeks when they cut those checks.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because of the money, it'll never happen. I mean, it will never happen. But from a fan enjoyment perspective, and a lot of that old Big 8's still around in the Big 12, isn't it? I mean, there's some history there. I mean, so it would make sense, but nothing in college sports makes sense anymore, and unless it's financially lucrative, and leaving the SEC would be financial suicide. So, I mean, for that reason, no, I don't expect that it would ever happen. But man, it would make sense if somehow we get to a place 10, 15 years from now where the conference map is redrawn. Yeah, I think Arkansas and Oklahoma and Texas A&M, we should probably go back to something like that and those schools being together.
Yeah.
Mizzou in the neighborhood.
Sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
David, last week we played a thrilling game of should I stay or should I go. We're not playing it again this week, but we did have the NBA Draft Combine last week. So kind of a two-part question. I believe either last Tuesday or Wednesday we got I guess it was last Tuesday, we got the news that Boogie Fland was taking his name out of the NBA draft. He is on campus at Florida today, taking a visit there. What do you think about him maybe going to Florida, and then how much of the draft combine did you pay attention to, and what are you kind of feeling with some of those big stay or go guys?
Yeah, interesting. Well, Florida, one, they've got a lot of money to spend, and they have a significant need at guard because, they lost Denzel Aberdeen to Kentucky because Kentucky just paid a lot. And then, they also lost Walter Clayton Jr., I believe Will Richards out of eligibility. I mean, so they had a desperate need at guard. So the Boogie Fland thing makes sense. It's logical. They can afford to pay him. He can go there and have a big role. And then as far as the combine goes, I mean, interesting reports on PJ Haggerty, like that maybe he wants to stay in. Maybe he played well enough there to get himself something guaranteed at the next level. So good for him if that's true. I still think he'd probably be better off coming back to college basketball. And then, I mean, shoot, it was another AAC guy who just sort of, I think, a lot of people looked over and didn't pay close attention to, but Jackson Lindeborg, who is kind of built in a lab, in a sense, with his wingspan and his physique and his just versatility on the court. I mean, he's another guy who you're hearing a lot of buzz around. Hey, this guy might be a lock to go in the first round. Michigan might not get him,
Yeah. So
what positions does he play in the NBA, David?
Well, I think he's a 5. Not a bruise with Joel Embiid or a bruise with Nikola Jokic type of
kind
5.
Kind of a poor man's, more athletic Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he can pass. Like you can put him on the perimeter. He can shoot it. He can pass it. But I mean, he does still bring that sort of opposite that weak side rim protection in a way, like a Jaren Jackson Jr.-esque sort of rim protector. Can he move his feet and get out there and be lateral enough, quick enough to guard those bigger wings? That's kind of a question maybe, but he's got a lot in his bag, a lot in his toolkit, so to speak, that'll really, I think, have some scouts enamored with his potential.
Yeah, I saw a mock draft today on ESPN, kind of their post-combine mock draft, and they had Yaxel going 26th to Brooklyn. So maybe a first-round guy, and maybe he decides to pass on Michigan. But it should be fun to see those decisions as they probably start coming out later this week into next week as guys start making their decisions. But David, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this week, and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. David Cobb with us from CBS Sports on college football and college basketball. While we've been talking, you know who has been Paul Feinbaum's guest on the set at Hoover Met?
Jeez, I have no idea.
Stadium?
Who?
Pat Smith.
Really? Oh, wow.
And it's right with the introduction and lower third introduction. Host a three-man front and co-creator of the Paul Feinbaum show.
That's
way
awesome.
back when in Birmingham.
That's great.
Where did they start? I think it might have been somewhere before Jocks. It might have been WERC. Is that right? But yeah, I mean, they were there together at the beginning.
That's awesome. I'll have to go back and find that segment and hear what Pat has to say today with Paul.
And he, Pat, and Paul, man, they know the SEC.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, no, I can guarantee you that's a good and fun segment with those guys.
It's almost 4:30 when we get into college football season. Every Monday at 4:30, we'll have our Sissy's Log Cabin look back at the weekend in the SEC. That's just part of what Sissy's Log Cabin helps us with throughout the year. They're going to be with us at SEC Media Days. They'll be with us at TPC Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. They're with us year-round with the text and talk line, with the guest line, and we appreciate them so very much. They're the official jeweler of the hometown teams as well, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers, in that great location at 4542 Poplar. It's the special May sale going on right now at Sissy's Log Cabin at Poplar and Perkins in Laurelwood, the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings, 9,000 square foot in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and much, much more since 1970 with all the great locations across the Mid-South. Sissy's, they offer a selection of diamonds, estate
Everybody, 2026 is already here at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Come out today and drive one of these all-new 2026 Equinoxes. Did you say Silverado? Nobody has more new Silverados than All-Star. I'm out here in Olive Branch today where all the Chevys are. And May is your month to finance your all-new Silverado as low as 0.9. That's less than 1%. And your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. And All-Star has every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If you don't see it here, ask Jeff and he will find it fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. So wherever this summer takes you, Drew and everybody here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wish you and your family a happy and safe travels. Together, let's drive. Visit All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Something amazing is happening in meteorology. Climate researchers are weathering the data storm. That's because CDW transforms infrastructure to bring flows and faster and so it's almost like they're controlling the weather themselves. Lenovo and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Lenovo client.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person baths and hot tubs starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that provides cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 for you, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Good afternoon. Watching traffic increase right where you would expect this time of day. 240 up by Poplar in both directions. Got a little bit heavy there a few minutes ago. Both east and westbound between Walnut Grove and Poplar as it builds already 40 east from Sycamore View Road as you make that drive all the way out towards Fayette County. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them this bridal season at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studios. We got to talk about the NBA playoffs, and let's go all the way back to Friday night. Boston on the road against the Knicks, and the Knicks, they get a 119-81 win over the Boston Celtics to secure their spot in the Eastern Conference Finals. And really the first time where early the Knicks applied pressure, got up double digits. It was really the big second quarter by the Knicks where they scored 38 points, get ahead, and it was really the first time Boston looked up and said, oh man, we're playing from behind now, and they really couldn't do it. Now we know Jaylen Brown was playing with an injury. We knew Jason Tatum was out, and they didn't have enough weapons at that point to be able to come back from that type of deficit. So now Knicks, they advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, and it should be fun against the Pacers.
This Celtics mix years, it's over it.
That's got to be. I mean, the way the finances
it's more
work
last dance for them than it is Golden State.
It is. And I mean, the way that we knew they were going to have to make significant changes because of the payroll and because of the what the salaries look like. But now with the Jason Tatum injury, there are people that think it could be even bigger changes to try to weather through that storm going into next year. So yeah, it feels like some significant changes coming to Boston.
People are going to think I'm saying this because I'm a Cardinal fan and I'm talking about the Cubs. I'm not. I really thought with all those players I saw coming through AutoZone Park for the Cubs in AAA, I thought they were going to go on a run like the Red Sox did. And the Red Sox run really started 03 with Aaron, insert the middle name, Boone's home run. And then the next year they came back from 3-0 down and finally broke their curse, the curse of the Bambino. And they went on to win it a bunch of times, including in 2019. I thought the Cubs were going to do that really starting with their 15 season. They win it in 16. I didn't think it was going to stop at just one. I didn't think this Celtics one was going to stop at just one. And it it's going to be just one.
Yeah, and it goes back, it's this is now the second time we have brought this up, but back to what Keith Smith always tells us is those windows are just not as open as everyone thinks with these teams. And for Boston, it felt like, hey, this is the year. You had another really good year. You've got all those guys, and then, injuries happen. You really choke away a couple games against the Knicks, and, you're knocked out before the conference finals. And so, yeah, I think, this was a season that was, you came up way short than what you thought, and now with injuries, with the way the money works, it feels like it could be some time before you get back there.
And a big contributing factor, I think, of having just one in this stretch where I think they're probably playing for at least two.
Sure.
Was how it ended, and it was unceremonious, and it was tawdry with M.A. Udoka.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're still seeing it with Houston, how good of a coach he is, and what he can do.
I think he would have gotten more than one out of it.
I think so, and certainly, just with even if they had gotten through, if they had won Game 6, if they had won Game 7, I think with the injury to Jason Tatum, they wouldn't have been able to get back, or at least they wouldn't have been able to win another NBA final. But, it's just one of those things where injuries pop up, and because of this second apron now, you're going to have to make changes. But yeah, nobody, even 2 years ago, before they got the one last year, was thinking this is going to be this kind of era of Boston is going to be just one.
They wanted just one out of the Doc Rivers years.
Yes.
That's all they got.
That's right.
They wanted more than this, but I can feel people right now thinking, enough of that Celtic talk. Brett, talk about your Knicks, and I will. My Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
I told y'all Jalen Brunson was the greatest Knick ever.
He really is.
I mean, all this Clyde Frazier, Earl the Pearl, Bill Bradley, Dick Barnett,
Never heard of
talk,
him.
all this
Right.
Pat Ewing stuff.
Please.
Come on. John Starks, Bernard King.
Please.
We knew it was Jalen Brunson.
I mean, who are those nobodies? I mean,
Right.
Jalen Brunson's here. I mean,
Carmelo Anthony. He didn't even get to an Eastern Conference Finals.
Exactly. Jalen Brunson just built different. And now we get my clutch off between him and Halliburton. So that's going to be that's going to be a lot of fun. No, I mean, you got to give the Knicks a lot of credit. I talked about it early in the show. I mean, it was an eerie feeling going into Friday night of New York, you better win it tonight because
everybody
it
thought
could get
they'd
ugly.
choke.
Oh, everybody did. I mean,
everybody west of the Hudson thought they'd blow it.
That's right. And so for them to go out there and get a win and get it, in decisive fashion, I was really impressed with what the Knicks showed.
In that 38-point second quarter, it was over. It was just a matter down the stretch. As the great Jack Eaton used to say, the only thing in doubt is the margin of the Tiger victory.
That's right.
And the only thing in doubt the whole second half was the margin of the Knicks win. And now we get the classic big town, small town. I don't know where it goes back to. I don't know what the first one was, but it's been done so many times. It was done one time in a Cardinals-Giants NLCS.
Okay.
They had a very good player, very popular player, Jeffrey Leonard. He ended up being the MVP of the LCS on a losing team. I mean, did they not watch Jose Oquendo hit the game-winning home run in the closeout game? I always wonder when do you hand out ballots to vote for the losing team player to win it. But Jeffrey Leonard popped off that week. He called St. Louis Cowtown, and then it was on. There will be somebody, some New York talk show, somebody, they'll talk, they'll question whether Indianapolis has running water or something like that in big town versus small town.
Of course. Oh, of course. And it will be fun. It will be a lot of fun. I really do think this could be a thrilling Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll see. Obviously, I think a lot of intrigue with either team if they can make it. I mean, obviously with the Knicks, if they can make it to the NBA Finals, look out. I mean, New York City might. Who knows what will happen in New York City? And then if Indiana can make it, then that's another really good story of kind of how they were able to build this team and now be able to get to the NBA Finals.
In the big town versus large town, it often gets played, especially in sports with things, or a lot of times in college football it's either North versus South or Big Ten versus SEC, something like that. Who do you honestly think misrepresents and mischaracterizes those predeterminations, those stereotypes the most? Us or them?
Oh, jeez. I'd say probably them.
I would too, and here's why. Us, we go to their places.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not that often, but we go and we're enchanted, enamored.
Sure, yeah.
Love going to New York. Love going to Chicago. Love going to San Francisco. We love going to those places.
Yeah.
They don't ever come down here. And we had one play it a few years ago, and now he's deceased, so I want to watch what I say about it. But T.J. Simers, famously with the Los Angeles Times one year for one of those big Grizzlies-Clippers matchups, he was a former commercial appeal writer. I can remember his byline and his stuff in the day.
I didn't know that.
And he showed up and he popped off and everybody all freaked out, and I was about the only one that didn't. Everybody racing to get him on and kind of want a cat fight with him, and we got him on, and I said, You're having fun with this. You're having your jollies with this, and he kind of laughed like you caught me.
Yeah, you got it, you nailed it. Yeah, but I think you're right. I think I would say it's them, but no, it'll be fun, and you're right. It always happens where one person's going to say something, it's going to get circulated, and that's going to become the big story of the series.
And I saw him that night at the building. And we spoke cordially and kind of laughed about it. He said, this is a great wrestling town. And I was kind of going with some of the stick from studio wrestling in the day. I said, I know that. And he chuckled, and he meant it nicely. He goes, hey, man, when I lived here, I lived in Frazier.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind it at all. You get something that gets everybody into it. Is definitely fun, and I really am. I'm excited for Wednesday night to see this series get started, and see how these two teams come out. The other game in that over the weekend, the Thunder with their win over the Nuggets in Game 7, a game where Nuggets played well, and then late in that second quarter, Thunder go on a run. They don't look back, and another really extremely impressive
last dance for Nuggets.
As long as you got Nikola Jokic on your team, I'm not gonna
say
never. Yeah, I'm gonna. But that's another team that I think they're in a weird spot in terms of cap and money. So that would be an interesting offseason. But Alex Caruso, another super impressive defensive game for him. What he did on Jokic, making it really tough for him.
Looked like he did in the early games of the Grizzlies series.
Yeah, sure did. I mean, he was really good. I mean, I go back to that game. I forgot which one it was where he was guarding Jaren and forced a handful of turnovers.
Guarding everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it was impressive. You look at 22 turnovers for the Nuggets. He was involved in 8 of them, which is incredibly impressive. Had 6 deflections in that game yesterday. I mean, just really impressive stuff from Alex Caruso. And to be able to have him come off the bench is a huge factor for this Oklahoma City Thunder team.
It is already 2026 at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Head to All-Star and drive one of the all-new 26 Equinox. And if you want a Silverado, they have them. Nobody with more new Silverados than at All-Star. First exit when you cross into Mississippi on Highway 78, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there where all the Chevys are. And May is your month to finance your new Silverado as low as 0.9%. That's less than 1%, and your good credit deserves it, and you get it at All-Star. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, educator, or part of all the recent grads, you get an instant extra $500 bonus back. All-Star with every pre-owned truck and SUV you're looking for. If you don't see it on the lot, ask Jeff or ask Drew or ask any member of that great All-Star team, and they'll find it and they'll get it here fast. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star in Olive Branch, and you'll get the most money back for it, whether you bought it there or not. Wherever this summer takes you, Drew DePriest and his staff, everyone part of his team at All-Star in Olive Branch, wish you and your family happy and safe travels for the summer months. Together, let's drive something from All-Star Chevrolet. And for more information, you can always go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Totes. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free Green Egg Grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Progressive knows that you have to choose between everyday life and your RV. RV wins. What are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean up your closet? RV wins. Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins. Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins.
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge and take the RV to the cruise. With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not in all states and situations.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now. For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy house or any house in the area. As is, it's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill 901-406-1101. Bill and I buy houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Metis today, 901-382-2363 or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Memphis Public Links has so much going on right now. Audubon is right around the fairway. Wait until you see when this thing is a finished product. Fox Meadows is in great shape. The Links at Pine Hill is now a masterpiece of a place to play, as are really all the other Memphis public golf courses. Galloway is playing like a championship course. They just finished the 75th year of the OPO, and Overton Park is now talked about, and that layout all across the state. And by the way, folks, it's so easy to make a tee time. The hard part is getting your buddies to pick their time. You go online to memphispubliclinks.com, select your course, then grab your tee time. Simple, easy, and incredibly convenient. Also, on the website is a schedule of upcoming events. There you'll find something that will interest you. Again, if you want to book a tee time or find out more about tournaments or other events at any of the great Memphis public golf courses, go online to memphispubliclinks.com.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Vargas. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer.
My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family affair is still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 once again. Records remain with Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy. You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today, it's really a take your pick at which big number you think is the more impressive big number, because it all is the same thing. But I saw this on Twitter earlier today, and it just reminds me, anytime I can bring up Tony Gwynn and just how electric his career was, I take that opportunity as much as I can. So I'm going to go with the number, I'll just give them both, 20 or 9,288. Take whichever one you want as your big number, because this is what it said. Ellie De La Cruz, who is a phenomenal player in Major League Baseball right now, is having a great career, an early career with the Cincinnati Reds. But Ellie De La Cruz is in his third season of the major leagues. And there's an opportunity. By the end of this month, he will have more career strikeouts than Tony Gwynn had in his 20 seasons or his 9,288 at-bats. Tony Gwynn finished his career with only 434 career strikeouts. Right now, Ellie De La Cruz, again, in his third season of Major League Baseball and is having a great start of his career, already has 422. Tony Gwynn, again, anytime I can bring up a Tony Gwynn big number, I take that opportunity because it is mind-boggling, some of the numbers.
He was so good that if he fussed just a little bit with the home plate umpire on a ball strike call, he was probably right.
Oh, yeah. Incredible. Incredible. 20 seasons, and you only struck out 434 times.
I'm at his baseball ref page. That 434, 162 game average 29 strikeouts per 162 games.
It's incredible. That is unbelievable.
Really is. He was that good, and a good basketball player.
That's right.
Remember when San Diego State, we went over their big four
That's
or whatever
right.
all the time.
Oh, man.
My big number is 1,517, 1517. Now, for players that remain in the playoffs, that's just players from 4 teams. Now, we're down that short.
That's right.
The active player with the most points remaining in playoff games, Jalen Brunson with 1,517.
Wow.
Second, Mike Conley, 1,473.
Yeah.
Which shows you, I mean, these are Pascal Siakam's third with 1,400. I didn't do this today, but I wonder how many players left in the playoffs have ever appeared in the finals.
Yeah.
Siakam did with Toronto.
Sure. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we're going to get down. If you got a New York, Oklahoma City finals, well, I guess you got with New York, you got the veteran PJ Tucker.
That's right. Yeah.
I bet he's been in the finals. I know.
Yeah, but man,
you would have maybe the fewest ever.
That's right. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, OKC, nobody comes to mind.
Even in a reserve role, I'm trying to think who for Oklahoma City might be there, and you know we're going to get that.
Oh yeah,
that somewhere from.
Oh yeah,
and we'll do the research on it too, but. You're going to get that number, and it's just going to be almost This is really the newbies.
Caruso, he was on the bubble title with the Lakers. I knew he was kind of around the same time as that, but bubble title with the Lakers. Alex Caruso was there.
Great catch.
So, but it's not many. It's not many at all.
Is he the only one with finals experience?
That's the only one that comes to mind for me, just off the top of my head.
Right. I wouldn't have gotten that.
They're
one.
just
That's
so
great.
young.
Great catch.
Well, I love Alex Caruso, the way he plays basketball. Oh man.
Are we giving Minnesota any chance?
I think you got to give him a chance. But especially, tomorrow night, the fact that OKC just played a Game 7 yesterday and have to turn around for Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow night is crazy. That is insane. So I'll give Minnesota a chance. They've been resting. They've played really well. They've got a superstar on their team. They got some good bigs. They got some shooters. You give them a chance, but I think, I don't know what the odds are right now, but I would say OKC is an overwhelming favorite to win this series.
Any other Knicks other than P.J. Tucker with finals experience? Campaign.
That's right. That's another good one
from Memphis.
That's a really good catch.
But still a very limited number.
Yeah, no, it's very few. It's very few, and that's going to be fun to watch.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Now we talk about the networks, New York and anybody how they'll sell that, present it. It'll be fun and it'll be big.
Oh, yeah, it would be great. I saw yesterday when the game started between OKC and Denver, they had starting lineup and then how many Game 7s all of those players all the starters had played in. And for Denver, it was like 6-5, 6-4. It was like good amount of games. And for OKC, it was like 1-0-0-0-1. Like it was very few for OKC. So yeah, it's a lot of newbies for all these teams. A lot of guys, seeing their first conference finals and certainly what would be their first NBA finals. And that will definitely be a lot of fun to keep an eye on.
Here's one more real quick big number: 300,000. Regular season attendance numbers are finalized. Everybody's done in SEC baseball. 4 teams. Wow. Ole Miss with 308,000. Mississippi State 330,000. Arkansas 357,000. And LSU with 388,000. 4 went over 300,000
That's incredible.
in baseball
That's
attendance.
Incredible. Yeah.
Take that, Jay Billis. That's why they pay what they pay.
That's right.
The market demands it.
That's
supports
SEC
it.
baseball. That's incredible.
Could make a case as a percentage of cost. It may make more money at some places than any other sport.
Yeah, that's incredible. That is a wild number, and just with how good it is, and the stakes for this week, Hoover Met is going to be incredible this week with the baseball that's going to be taking place starting tomorrow. We've got conference tournament action beginning tomorrow.
9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's super early.
Get loose, get ready.
LSU, LSU fans are going to be there. They're already set up out there, and they'll already be loose.
And they're ready.
Very ready. Very ready. Well, before we get to a break, let me remind you, we're getting closer to the dinner hour and so much on televisions, whether it's the basketball action, maybe even some of these college baseball conference tournaments, even Major League Baseball, looking for a night out, wanting to catch the game. Let me tell you the perfect place to catch all the action. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley. Bell Tavern is the perfect bar for a night out with your friends or to catch a game. It's not one of those loud, rowdy sports bar. You can enjoy the night at Bell Tavern with one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar. You can enjoy a game at, enjoy an evening with your friends. It's not just the drinks. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of their gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city for a perfect night out. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580. That's 901-249-6580, or go online to belltavern.com. Well, we need to get to another break, and when we return, we're going to talk more basketball to Michael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us. We'll talk a little bit of Grizzlies. We'll talk a little bit of the NBA playoffs. We'll do all of that with DeMichael next on Sports Time.
Since 1948, in the alley, the rendezvous. I'm with John Vargas. John, what's going on in the rendezvous? Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father
father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put big seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family of families still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Hey, Miss South, it's time to drive into savings at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. And I got Marty McNair on the phone to give you the scoop.
How about a 2025 Jetta S, $299 a month?
Brand new Jetta S, $299 a month. What else you got, Marty?
I've got a 2025 ID4 S Limited, $399 a month. And feel the vintage vibes in a 2025 ID Buzz Pro S Electric Buzz, $599 a month.
And Marty was telling me earlier, Volkswagen has the lower cost of maintenance across 24, 25 lineups compared to 24 Toyota or Honda, so it's obviously the smarter choice. So get on over to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online, GossettVWG.com, and be sure to ask for Marty McNair.
You got that right, Randy. So come see us at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. And remember, your future is what you make it.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Finishing up a couple of racks in the last few minutes. Building pretty good out of Midtown on 240 southbound and South Parkway. Dodging a few rain showers out here, especially up in parts of Tipton County this afternoon as traffic starts to build over here on 240 getting on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Dandelions, crabgrass. You want to get rid of all this in your yard? Call Lawn Solutions right now here in Memphis. That telephone number is 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Love City. Once again,
You say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios as we start our third and final hour. And joining us now, talk some Grizzlies and talk the NBA, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He joins us now. DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us. Earlier today, you had a story published in the Commercial Appeal titled "What Memphis Grizzlies Can Learn from What's Going On in NBA Playoffs, Get in Contention I've heard a lot of people kind of talk about this when you look at who's still left, the teams that have, advanced past the first round. What is the biggest thing you have noticed that could help the Grizzlies, that the Grizzlies should be noticing going forward?
Man, it's a combination of two things, and the combination is depth really isn't all that important. I mean, of course, it's somewhat a factor, but it is, when teams at the beginning of the season say, oh, we're going to have so much depth this year, it usually really doesn't matter that much at the end of the day. And I say that to say that if you look at the numbers this year, go look at the top 15 teams in the NBA in bench scoring. Only one still playing. That's the Indiana Pacers. And quite frankly, they weren't projected to be here. But the point is depth only matters so much because of the fact that, sure, it's good to have good quality players like, the Ty Jeromes and the Peyton Pritchards of the world. But at the end of the day, when they step in, they're good replacement level players in the regular season. They ain't getting you over the hump in the playoffs. I mean, it's the proof is there. Mm-hmm. So, while it's good, like if you want to kind of relate this to the Grizzlies, it's good to, if John Morant goes down, you got Scottie Pippen Jr. who's steady, or Asante Aldama who's averaging 12.5 points off the bench. But at the end of the day, it's still a replacement level player. So I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is depth isn't really as important as having your top guys being of the utmost quality. In the case of the Knicks, they ride their starters, right? They're playing those guys. Mitchell Robinson, Miles McBride gets a couple minutes in there. Maybe Cameron Payne gets mixed in a little bit, but it's really all about, that starting five. And then same thing with the Timberwolves. You mix Dante DiVincenzo in there and Naz Reid, a little Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but you're heavily reliant. Most of these teams, 5 guys are playing 36, 37, 38 minutes at this point. So the idea of, we can go 10 deep, 11 deep, it doesn't really matter at this point. So it's the combination of that and good fortune. And the good fortune part of that is we've seen, in the case of the Timberwolves, you play, a couple teams up to this point. The Lakers, LeBron James was dealing with the knee injury, and everyone's injured at this time, but it's just to point out the fact that, he was dealing with that, and then you get to the next round, Golden State, you lose game 1, but the Warriors lose Curry, and they don't win another game in that series. And we saw it with the Pacers as well. The Cavs were dealing with 3 or 4 of their top guys dealing with injuries. And at the end of the day, it just takes some good fortune. Boston got it last year, right? Boston played the Cavs, and Donovan Mitchell went down. Then they got to the next round, and I forget who they played. I think it was the Pacers, and Tyrese Halliburton, went down, and a couple other guys, Benedict Mathurin, whatever the case may be. But the point is, you're going to need some good luck. So I say all that to say is when you think about how this relates to the Grizzlies, I think to me it just kind of is a good reminder that you need top level talent. It's all about the top of your roster. At the end of the day, you put some quality players around them, you give yourself the best chance. But you also need those guys to be healthy. And the last 3 playoff runs for the Grizzlies have all had John Morant injuries. So that's just not happening right now when you look at, the Pacers, or if you look at the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards is out there for them. Julius Randle is out there. And the same thing, with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
DeMichael, one of your predecessors as on the beat at the Commercial Appeal covering the Grizzlies, the great Ron Tillery, used to always say, you win with your stars. Don't get too hung up on who your satellite guys are.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Shout out to Ron Tillery. But, and I think that has kind of become the Grizzlies' way in recent years, like this idea, wow, this team is so deep and all that. But it doesn't really matter that much at the end of the day. Like
that 10-man rotation stuff. Yeah. Even Hubie scrapped that at the end.
Yeah. And my thing is, I've always said that deep teams win in the regular season, because in the regular season, you can miss John Morant for 10 games, and you got Scottie Pippen Jr. In there. You can hold the fort down for those 10 games. But when you're in the playoffs and you're playing top teams whose season's on the line for those 10 games, drastically, completely different thing. So depth wins a lot of regular season games, and that's kind of been the Grizzlies' way. The Grizzlies have had a lot of depth in these 50-win seasons. You go back to three years ago in 2022. You go back to the 2023 season. In each of those cases, they were considerably, deep compared to some of the other playoff teams. And when the playoffs came, you're not able to rely on, those 8th and 9th and 10th man rotation guys. And, I think the Grizzlies, the way they're built, they rely on those guys more than, your top-level teams. So, one more thing to your point, and I'll leave it at this, but the best example to me is if you look at dynasties over the course of the last, we can just cap it at 25 years. If you look at the dynasty of the last 25 years, the San Antonio Spurs, what did they have in common throughout that entire dynasty? They had Tim Duncan, they had Manu Ginobili, they had Tony Parker. Mm-hmm. Everything around that changed. It went from Bruce Bowen, David Robinson early Malik Rose, then it changes to Boris Diaw, and Thiago Splitter, Kawhi Leonard. Everything around those guys changed, but those core players stayed the same. What about the Golden State Warriors? You had Steph Curry, you had Klay Thompson, you had Draymond Green the entire time, but it started out with Leandro Barbosa, Maurice Spaeth, Sean Livingston, and then you go to 2022.
Bogut.
Yeah, Bogut as well, and then you go to 2022. We're looking at Jordan Poole. We're looking at Andrew Wiggins. We're looking at, just a completely different group of guys around them. So the point is, it's about the stars. You can regroup and, change some things around them, but your stars are going to win for you. So it's about the Grizzlies maximizing their stars and having the confidence that they can get the job done.
DeMichael, and like baseball very much. And your team, your big league team, the Braves, it had this knock forever around it. I know they got a title in '95 and they got a title in a few years ago, but they got the knock of built for the regular season. Do you think the Grizzlies have been built for the regular season and not the post because the lack of success in the postseason?
Oh, without a doubt. They just getting back to that point of depth, like, you look at the Grizzlies, they've been built for regular season success. We used to talk so much. Remember when Tyus Jones was here, and even somewhat this season, like, their records without Ja Morant were solid. But at the end of the day, if you just really peel the layers back, you're like, this won't work in the playoffs. Like, it survives the regular season stretches. But when you get to the playoffs and you get to the last 4 minutes of a game, Tyus Jones ain't winning you that game. With as good as he is, he wasn't going to win you that game like Ja Morant can do, or Scottie Pippen Jr., same thing. So it comes down, to your stars. And but yeah, I think the Grizzlies, they've been mostly built on depth. They've been mostly built kind of as a regular season team that they also haven't been great in the most the most extensive playoff kind of areas, right? A half court offense has been a struggle for the Grizzlies at times. This year we talked about the physicality standpoint. The Grizzlies struggled with physicality a lot. That's the playoffs for you. The game's going to slow down. It's going to be physical. The Grizzlies like to get out and run. That was something that, that's something that you're not really going to be able to just do at will in the playoffs a lot of times. Playoff games are ugly, and in a way, that's why the grit and grind teams, in some ways, often, kind of overexceeded in the playoffs. Being an 8 seed and beating 1 seed and things like that. So, it's kind of flipped in a way from, the grit and grind days to now this team is built. They're going to beat you in the regular season and win 50-plus games if they stay healthy, but you have that question of how that success can translate into the postseason.
Mm-hmm. There were 2 teams that made coaching changes late in the season, firing their head coach. We know the Grizzlies are one of them. We know who the permanent head coach will be. The Nuggets were the other team that made that move. Well, now they're officially eliminated by the Oklahoma City Thunder. What do you think Denver does? We knew for the Grizzlies it was pretty quick, and they went with the interim. Do you think Denver does the same thing with David Adelman? I know some people said, well, he's gotten this far with this team. They'll probably just stay with him. Do you think they stay with him, or do you think they go outside and bring in a more established head coach?
This one's a little tricky, guys, because I want to say, I mean, they just do what everyone else has done, but there's a difference between the Nuggets and every other team that we've named. If you look at the Kings situation, like if they don't win a championship next season, no one's gonna cry about it.
Right.
The Grizzlies don't win a championship next season. I mean, people aren't gonna cry. Like they can have a successful season without winning a championship. Is my point. Same thing with San Antonio Spurs. Success can be done without achieving the championship next season. But in the case of the Nuggets, they don't win a championship next season, it won't be considered a success. So while those other teams are in situations where they can build up, right? They can, have coaches kind of get them closer to where they want to be. You saw Jokic basically stand on that, sit at the podium and say, look, we're not good enough because we didn't win a championship. This team, as constructed, isn't good enough because it didn't achieve the ultimate goal. And at the end of the day, as long as you have that guy who's probably going to, if he doesn't win MVP this season, he's probably going to win it next season just because he's that good. Like, he's just right there in the thick of it for the last 5-6 years. And the goal is championship or bust. So I think you better know that he's the guy, and you're in a situation where you can go get the more experienced guys who've been there possibly if you want to. So it's a little tricky. I feel like maybe they will side with the experience over, these ops, over kind of just retaining their guy, whereas the other teams are in a different situation.
And how you have laid out this regular season versus playoff, DeMichael, it really begs the question. You could make a case for both, but kind of which one more of? Front office mismanagement, not getting more satellite helper players around the star players. Are we just to the point, and I've called the alleged, supposed Big Three just kind of a Big Three. Did the Big Three let us down?
Well, it's not 3 All-Stars. So I mean,
that's true.
That's why I called it the core three. I haven't necessarily called it.
And Kleiman even calls it core three.
Yeah. I think there's a difference there, right? There's a difference with the wording. Like big three, you're thinking, you're thinking LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade. You're thinking maybe a little Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, or I guess you could throw Draymond in there. I think you're thinking all-stars when you say big. Core is the guys that you want to build around, and you're kind of growing up with them, right? They're growing up with the franchise. So it's a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, look, the question to me, it always comes back to this. Can you improve at the top of the roster? Can you improve with John Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr., whether it's changing that core or internally? And I think look, as tough of a conversation it is, there is a route to. I mean, we see some of these names popping up. I mean, you see the mega stars who are in some uneasy situations. There's opportunity out there for the Grizzlies to go star hunting, so to speak, and make the trade. And they'd have to give up one of those guys in order to do that, and kind of shuffle at the top. But those guys are young, and some people will say, man, look, you got 3 guys that really want to be in Memphis. Do you really want to mess that up? Because that just hasn't happened much. And my thing is, if you're going to, quote-unquote, build around 3 guys, and I'm going to use the Warriors example again. You're going to build around 3 guys where you're like, okay, we feel like they're enough, but we're not all the way sure. You know what you got to do? You got to go get your Andre Iguodala. You got to go when the Nuggets acquired Andre Iguodala. I believe it was 2013 when they acquired him. It was right. He played he played a little bit with Mark Jackson right before the run because he was starting over Harrison Barnes, and that was one of the changes that Steve Kerr made when he took over. But you go get your veteran who's been in the league, who's been in the playoffs, who's been a very quality, talented player, and who's basically going to be that other integral piece to kind of lift that core 3 even higher. That's what I'm looking for. That's where, the Grizzlies have, some trade exceptions. They have, that mid-level exception that they've been reluctant to use in recent years, but they still have the non-taxpayer one. It's the highest. It's going to be over $14 million per year. this year. You can get a quality player at over $14 million a year in the NBA right now. So I'm looking at it like that. You go out and aggressively, because to put it simply, if you're going to go into the next season with John Morant, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr. as the guys you're going to build around, there better be some really good players around them that have some playoff experience. That you know, it doesn't have to be a lot of guys. Like I said, depth isn't the most important thing to me. Get a couple more guys, and then you get Jalen Wells, Zach Edey, another year older, and see what you can do.
Yeah. Absolutely. It feels like OKC is the team to beat right now in the NBA playoffs. What do you think about the two conference finals on both sides, Western Conference and Eastern Conference? What do you expect to see over these next couple of weeks?
Man, it's tricky because I think with the Timberwolves and OKC, Timberwolves have matched up very well, against OKC. They match up very well. Two teams that hang their head on, great perimeter defense, but also strength at the rim, right? They both have a quality rim protection. In the case of the Timberwolves, they have that rim protection. They have size, but OKC hasn't shot the ball just very well. But OKC's defense just swarms people, and that's kind of what it all comes down to me. Like, we love Mike Conley around here, but if we're just honest, the Timberwolves don't have the best point guard play. They're turnover prone. Anthony Edwards' playmaking was a problem last season, late in the playoffs, and OKC is the team that can take advantage of that. I think it's close, but I got OKC. I think I got OKC winning that series because of the turnovers. That's going to be the kind of the one swing area. I think the Timberwolves shoot the three-pointer much better, and that's going to be the area where they can kind of separate themselves. When the Timberwolves win game, they can shoot it well from three, and OKC's capable of having good nights from three, but they're not a good three-point shooting team. On the other side, I mean, that one's a toss-up too, but I'm going to go with the Knicks as of now. I mean, I trust Jalen Brunson, which I trust what he's done in the playoffs last year. I trust what he did in the playoffs against Utah when he was playing with Dallas and Luka was hurt. I mean, he's just built for these moments. And I think that they have enough perimeter guys to kind of, to go at Halliburton. They can switch multiple different guys onto him, and they're going to make things tough for the rest of those guys on the Pacers. Who, the Pacers pride themselves on playing with pace and things like that. And I expect the Knicks to kind of slow it down, muddy it up a little bit, and I think Knicks will win out.
DeMichael, I've told you I live at Basketball Ref. I'm there now. 2018 draft with the 32nd pick, the Memphis Grizzlies take from West Virginia, Javon Carter. With the 33rd pick from Villanova, Dallas takes Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, but look, he's not in Dallas anymore. But they've been able to keep him. Look how everything turned out.
Very true.
So, I mean, but yeah, that is very noteworthy, to say the least. And I was there when Javon Carter was introduced. I was an intern at the Tri-State Defender then, and I remember, there was this. How do I describe it? I feel like there was still this nostalgic love fest with the grit and grind era. Because they got Jaren Jackson Jr. in that same year, and it was like we lost a couple of those guys, right? No Tony Allen anymore, no Zebo anymore, but we're still going to keep that grit and grind going.
No question. We did, and the next day, Rob and I we had Javon Carter on, and he had a Memphis connection. We very much were still wedded to that. That's a great recall to Michael.
Yeah, it really is. That was all.
Yeah, for sure.
That was also the same year that Luka Doncic was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. So great draft by the Mavericks, but neither on the team anymore.
Man, that's how quick the NBA changes, man.
And at Basketball Ref, you can look at those old drafts, and it'll drive you crazy.
I believe it.
Thinking about what if.
I believe it. Well, it's going to be fun to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. DeMichael, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, DeMichael. Michael Cole joining us from the Commercial Appeal, talking Grizzlies, talking the NBA. Go check out his work over at the Commercial Appeal. Even though it's the offseason and we're still pre-free agency and pre-draft, he's still pumping out a lot of content about the Grizzlies.
The NBA offseason, got into this yesterday with a friend. I joined in Little Rock on Sunday mornings. The NFL has the best offseason now.
No question about it.
The NBA is good. It just doesn't last very long. They wrap it up too fast.
It's really quick because it's almost like boom, 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 boom. You've got the playoffs in, you crown your finals, and it feels like the next week it's draft week, and then it feels like the week after that you've got summer league, and then it feels like after that free agency's over, and all right, we'll see you preseason.
Then you're waiting to Rob Fisher's schedule reveal.
Exactly, and
his takes on it, and the NBA's got a good offseason. It's just not as sustainable as the NFL, but what can match the NFL in sustainability?
Is such a giant. I was talking with a buddy yesterday, and he brought up a good point of how the now second apron, and we talked about it earlier when talking about some of these teams, of how it's going to be a weird offseason. Celtics, we know they have to make room. Denver, it feels like they're going to have to make some changes with their roster. Maybe the NBA offseason becomes more interesting because a lot of teams are trying to have to play around with money and try to play around with how they stay under the second apron. So maybe that makes it more interesting, but you're right. It's really good. It's just really quick.
It just all's wrapped up very fast. In the original off-season sport, the hot stove league, baseball, hardcore baseball people like us don't keep up with every fit and start of it anymore. And then college football off-season is a train wreck until they report to camp.
Exactly. I mean, even having, we're doing the countdown right now for football season, and I still am don't want to ask David Cobb too many, football season questions because still don't really know who's on the rosters with all of these teams, and we're only a couple months away. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, one of my favorite games to play with Major League Baseball is watching the first weekend and going, oh, that guy's with the Phillies now. Oh, that guy's with the Tigers. Oh, it's one of my favorite games.
Because we really don't watch spring training games like we used to.
No, exactly.
We're busy with other stuff.
Exactly. I mean, everything's going.
I'm sure not watching it on Christmas Eve and hot stove.
Certainly not. But it is a lot of fun. You're right. I mean, it's just with NBA, it's so fast. But it feels like we'll probably be keeping a closer eye on it now because of the moves it feels like the Grizzlies will make this offseason. Well, before we get to another break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Bluff City. They've been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's perfect style of performance and versatility with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com. Head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's go ahead and get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family. short for ordinary jewelry.
June is always a month of celebration. People are getting married. People are graduating. And those people need somewhere to do their celebrating. And we offer up Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown bar. You could take your group to a chain restaurant or bar, but those places don't have a tenth of the charm of Bell Tavern. Chains are sterile and impersonal. Bell Tavern is a cool oasis for most places. Signature cocktails, ice-cold beer, and the friendliest staff in town. This is a chance for you to show off your knowledge of Memphis, to impress out-of-towners by taking them to the coolest bar they've been to in a long time. Unless, of course, they go to Bell Tavern.
K4 SEO 39894, MSRP 25840, K5 S5312782, MSRP 29330, Telluride SG 597 965, MSRP 43410, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 must finance through KFA, excludes tax on license with approved credit dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/2/25.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, the scoop is you get a 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than a latte a day at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Less than $6 a day at $169 a month. Plus a 2025 Kia K5 GT line, $185 a month. Got a big family? 2025 Telluride EX front-wheel drive 6 to 8 and has more power and larger cargo area than a Nissan Pathfinder. That's 2025 Telluride EX, $378 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in-bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Good afternoon. T-Dot was moving a stalled car a few minutes ago in a terrible spot on 240 East, just past Walnut Grove before you get to Sam Cooper. It had traffic clogged up over there a few minutes ago. Again, that's 240 going eastbound, just past Walnut Grove. There's still some volume out here, of course, this time of the afternoon on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out past Germantown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this coming bridal season. Stop by and see them this week. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studios. So we got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. A couple things trending today. I want to bring up, though, we talked earlier with David Cobb, obviously draft combine going on last week. And now you're seeing some people doing, post combine mock drafts. I will say that the ESPN mock draft today, it was both first and second round. PJ Haggerty not named in either the first or second round. But talking to David earlier, he said maybe, Yaxel, with what he did at the combine, might go to the draft instead of going to Michigan. That feels like one of the bigger decisions. And the question is, I thought, a great question by you. What is he at the next level? Because we've kind of had that conversation. Great at UAB, great player, but does he really fit in the modern day NBA? And that would be the question. Obviously, shooting will have to improve from him.
And if it's first round, the money would be better to go. Second round, I don't know. And that's what P.J. Haggerty's going to have to weigh as well, with juxtaposed against Shedeur Sanders signing his deal today. Shedeur Sanders would have made more money coming back to college football.
So much more. And it was, that was the interesting thing, because obviously nobody thought that Shedeur Sanders was going to fall as much as he did all the way to the 5th round. But even, people that not saying it as a joke, not just a blog, or like people who actually do this for a living, they write and cover the sport for a living, saying that he should go and try to, threaten to sue college football or even just sue college football to try to get them to change the rules so that he could get another year of college.
I would be with him.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Because used to, once you took that money from anybody, agent, anybody, you were done. And Herschel Walker famously got cold feet on the USFL and the New Jersey Generals and wanted to return to Georgia. And they said, it was a very brief conversation with Vince Dooley. He said, did you take money? He said, I did. He said, you're a pro then.
That's
You're
right.
a pro now. I can't. You can't come back. Well, now we know we don't have those mores or rules or hang-ups anymore. And why shouldn't they? I wish he would.
I wish he would too.
And see, I get to see, and for the colleges should support it, especially since we know the NBA and the NFL, they don't care about college sports.
No, not at all. And I think the one thing that is always, especially over the last however long it's been, 4 or 5 years that they've implemented this, I just never understood why in basketball guys are allowed to test the draft waters, go to the combine, get feedback from these NBA teams, and then make a decision, and why NFL doesn't have that same thing. Why can't these guys? And Shedeur, very different. I think even if he had gone to the combine and did all the stuff and whatever.
But I want it even after the draft. I don't want to go there.
I agree, but I'm just saying, how are we not to that point to start off?
Yeah.
Like, why can it happen in basketball and it can't happen in football? That already seems way behind the times. But yeah, I think we're in a completely different era now when it comes to college athletics, where these guys are already making money, they're already taking money. So why can't it be, hey, go test the draft? If you don't like where you're at with the draft, you have that option to go back and play another year, because you're absolutely right. He would have cashed in with another year of Colorado, and now he's taking a big pay cut.
Well, both college football and college basketball, they've always been inclined to be cozy with the NBA and the NFL, because you don't want to be perceived as that one because that's the goal. That's where they all think and want to get to. So you don't want to be perceived, real or the perception of inhibiting anyone, because then you get killed in recruiting. Oh, they don't want you going pro.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going there then. That's the whole idea of all this.
That's right. Yeah.
Very few. There are some that I just want to be a college football star. But the big majority is I want the fame and fortune.
That's right. Yeah. And who knows?
I don't blame them.
I think maybe a little bit, not the perception of that is changing, because obviously everybody's going to want to go pro. But, certainly things changing a little bit with money. Now I think teams are less inclined to say, go be pro, whatever, because you've got all this money and you can go out there and make a pitch of, hey, come back and we'll pay you this amount of money. And so it is weird. I mean, everything is changing, but I'm with you. I mean, I think people need to go to the drawing board a little bit and take a look at where we're at with some of these rules and maybe try to change some of them, because you're right. I mean, that was the thing.
Even back to last year, Caleb Williams, never mind UFL, go back to SC if you don't want to go be a Bear.
Yeah, sure. And that one, I mean, heck, if these quotes, and obviously these quotes are true, they're it's citing him and his father, I really don't know why he didn't. I mean, because he knew Chicago was going to get the number 1 pick. I mean, that was one of those where you knew all the way back then that Chicago was going to get the number 1 pick. That one blew my mind. But another guy that not obviously Shedeur is the biggest story, but another guy that nobody's really talking about, Quinn Ewers. I mean, is kind of in that same spot where he just his stock completely plummets, and he goes super late in the draft. That's another guy that could have come back and gone to college and entered the transfer portal and go somewhere else.
Gone back to Ohio State.
Exactly. Ohio State's looking for a quarterback. They would have paid good money to Quinn Ewers to come be their quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, I think something's got to change in football to, at least at the very least, allow these guys to test the draft waters and then make the decision to go back to school.
And the colleges should show no loyalty to the NFL and the NBA because they would step on them like a bug every chance they get.
Easily. So who knows? But you're right. It's kind of hard when all these guys. The goal is to go to the pros, and so you don't want to get ugly with those guys.
All 4 NBA conference finalists, West and East, the NBA Final Four, there's something about each one that just illuminates the Grizzlies' management, front office management deficiencies. You look at a guy like Leon Rose killing it with the Knicks, Sam Presti continuing what he does with Oklahoma City. Then you go to the star player, Anthony Edwards, realizing and understanding he's the face of the franchise, being reminded of that in the playoffs by his head coach. Nobody's stepped up and told that to Ja. That contrast. And then the contrast of the 2 kind of old, experienced guys in the East that coaching really matters instead of just hiring somebody that's standing there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I think all of these teams are very unique and have shown that, like we kind of talked about earlier, where it feels like this Grizzlies front office on a lot of things have kind of sat on their hands. And you go and you look at Minnesota.
It's just getting whipped.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but, we talked about it earlier. Minnesota and the Knicks, they pull off a massive trade where both teams trading all-star caliber guys. And now both of them
in the finals.
Couldn't meet in the finals. Both of them in the conference final. So, I mean, I think it's a lot there. Now, obviously, these teams, some of them have gone through some rough patches to get here. I think, OKC with them, getting all of those first-round picks to create this team and, some of the trades, some of the things that have happened to these teams to get there. But at the end of the day, they're there now, and I think you look at it, great front offices, great decisions by them, and you just really haven't seen that with the Grizzlies.
We'll have to get to hockey and NBA picks tomorrow night.
That's right.
My leaves are dead to me.
Yeah,
I'm done. I can't ever do it again. No more pain from them.
I mean,
I told you just didn't know how tough it was.
It
being
is.
a Leafs fan.
I mean, it is very clearly so much that you have disowned them.
Sweater burned, sweater thrown away.
It's hard. It's hard, and
completely dead.
An opportunity in the NHL where we could have a repeat of last year's Stanley Cup Final. So
Good,
that could be
and
could be
3
fun.
straight conference finals for Florida, right?
That's right. So Florida, they're a
all right. Here's our picks. And to show you, I'm no hockey expert. Never claimed to be.
No, absolutely not.
I don't even know the rules.
No, I mean, honestly, you're just
my
hanging
picks
along.
show it. I'm 4-8.
Well,
second place, Landon at 7-5. Leader at 9-3, Brian.
I mean, hockey expert. I mean, I own hockey sweaters. I mean, that you should have already known my hockey knowledge at that
NBA.
point.
Both Landon and I are 11-7.
Wow.
Bryant 12-6.
Wow.
NBA.
Okay. All right. I didn't expect that.
Bryant, the big winner from the PGA Championship.
I say, except
with Scotty Scheffler,
and could have really gotten there with John Rahm, but
just sitting there watching the world burn for a little while until I jinxed
it. Yeah, you jinxed it. You texted me, and all was going well, and then almost immediately after that text message, John Rahm falls off the face of the earth.
Rahm hadn't made a par since.
I think Rahm's still out there on the course, trying to scoop balls out of creeks, and I mean it's just a terrible finish for him.
Preakness. We all 3 in the 4-horse win place show wheel. We all had 3 out of 4.
How about that?
Landon had Sandman to win. We both had journalism. Yeah. So I'm going to call it a tie, but I won Kentucky Derby. We'll break the tie at the Preakness, or at the Belmont.
Brett, you have the opportunity for a Triple Crown. How about that?
I'm going for the Triple Crown.
No horse, but you get the opportunity for a Triple Crown.
Now I didn't pick the winner, but I did have him in the.
Yeah.
I had Sovereignty.
Yeah.
I did have Sovereignty, didn't I?
You did have Sovereignty.
I sure
did.
You
had him winning. Yeah.
I did. I can go for the Triple Crown.
Can.
Wow.
You're going for the Triple Crown, and
now the tickets paid nothing.
Well, that's true.
They were little bitty tickets at the Preakness.
They definitely were. And a group lock win for Showboat Bankroll over the weekend. How about that?
We did. We sure did.
In on that game.
Finally had something go my way.
That's right. Well, please, mister. I'm running off and hiding in golf picks. Give me a break.
Whatever.
John Rahm could have really gotten you back there. If he had won in the quad, you would have been in first.
But there was a time there when I was sitting there thinking, hey, let's position ourselves where John Rahm continues to play well. Scotty just kind of hanging out there. John Rahm jumps him, wins. Scotty is runner-up, and we collect all the money in the world.
That's it.
But that clearly
then I texted you.
Did not happen. You texted me and ruined all of my fun, so thank you for that.
I was rooting for Scotty.
Thank you.
Whole time.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Landon.
Over John Rahm, for sure.
Yeah, well, of course you were. That would have really made things interesting if John Rahm won and Scotty came in second. But hey, now I'm back in second, so look out. I'll probably end up in fourth here.
Picking
in 3
third.
weeks.
Welcome to the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, welcome to where things actually get tough. You can't just pick Scotty Scheffler and say, job well done.
I have to wait on
Scotty.
everybody. It's ridiculous.
That's right. You're out there actually having to do work on who you're going to pick. Yeah, not as easy when you pick fourth. But it was a really fun. I mean, I say it again. It was a really fun sports weekend, with just everything going on. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. And when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tito's handmade vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Spring Sales Event got thunderstruck, and the deals will shock you. All current inventory is not affected by new tariffs, so you can buy with confidence. And 2.99 for 60 months is available. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $349 a month, or buy for $41,115 with a combined range of 420 miles. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, we Gossett, $28,545. 25 Mitsubishi Outlander, we Gossett, $32,130 or $499 a month. Plus, you always get peace of mind with our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SEO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Matus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call them 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Mid-South, it's the right time to buy, and the right place is Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. And we're ready to beat the competition on your new ride, so hurry. Get to Gossett Hyundai on the Pike for 2024 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid Limited All-Wheel Drive. Only $36,921. How about 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT All-Wheel Drive? We Gossett $37,180. And beautiful 2024 Hyundai Palisade Limited Front-Wheel Drive $44,277. There's only one left at this price, so you gotta hurry. Plus, every Gossett Hyundai comes with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai today, 1870 Covington Pike, or online anytime at HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
23, MSRP 41,870, Palisade RU 798,741, MSRP 50,184, Santa Cruz RH 126,339, MSRP 42,180, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Tasty high note.
Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list, like this leaf blower. PayPal can pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, shoes the whole time you're there. Can't put a price on that kind of luxury. For speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, the conference finals are officially set in the NBA, and it feels like they're going to be a lot of fun. Oklahoma City, obviously the favorite to win it all, being the lone number one seed left standing. But I don't think it will be necessarily easy against Minnesota. This is a Minnesota team that, we talked about. They were in this position last year, but coming into it, a lot of people picked the Lakers to beat them in the first round. A lot of people picked Golden State to beat them in the second round, and they were able to beat both of those teams, both veteran teams that have kind of been there, done that. They were able to knock those teams off. So what will they be able to do against the Thunder? Going to be a quick turnaround for the Thunder. 7-game series, Game 7 yesterday, and now they have to turn around for Game 1 tomorrow night against a Minnesota team that is more rested than they are. So that will be fun. On the other side, I'm so excited for this matchup. Brunson and Halliburton, two of the most clutch players of the season, going up against it. I said it last week. All I want is a 6 or 7 game series where a lot of these games are coming down to the final 2 minutes, and it's, hey, get those guys the ball, let them work, and see what happens, because that's kind of been the formula for them so far. I think both, in their own way, is very intriguing, and I'm excited for them to get started tomorrow night.
Don't you know it's fun in Oklahoma City right now, because they're expecting to win it all. What I learned over the weekend, the thing I like the most about Scotty Scheffler is he lets the golf do the talking. Mm-hmm. He's not a limelight guy like some of them, like Bryson or Brooks Koepka, loving the attention. He's not trying for TikTok hits like Max Homa or some of the other wannabe guys. Just play ball. Mm-hmm. Very Hale Irwin-esque and refreshing.
Yeah, no, it really has been. What I could have done without the news in Baltimore, Brandon Hyde is out. A 15-30 start to the season, a 6-game losing streak. They had to make a change. The biggest problem, though, has been the arms. You look at their pitching rotation, second worst ERA in baseball, giving up the most home runs per 9 innings in baseball. But the bats haven't been great either. Pretty much in every batting statistic, they're in the mid-20s. So the arms have been atrocious. The bats have not been great, and that gets you a 15-30 start to the season. Got to make this change. The easiest guy is the head coach.
Yeah, we thought he might be next. John Schneider, Blue Jays, maybe Kevin Cash even could be up next. Could have done without. No wonder John Rahm wilted on the back nine because he was playing under stress. He had felt no pressure all year, playing in that hit and giggle garbage. Leah, it was a little similar, Bryant, to seeing the Tigers in that first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
They had just not played under a pressure-packed situation in so long. They didn't know how to handle it. He doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, that's a really good point and a really good comparison. Where are you beaming tonight?
Rematch of the victorious 2006 World Series at Busch Stadium. Tigers against the Cardinals. It'll be about 50 degrees warmer at first pitch tonight than it was for the closeout Game 5 in 2006. David Eckstein, MVP, coldest I've ever been at baseball.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun series, and we'll see what's the turnout this week with the best record in baseball against a red-hot Cardinals team right now. What will that look like? Monday night might not be the best way to figure it out, but it should be a fun series. Being me, I'll go to another baseball series. How about this Guardians and Twins series? The Guardians have been the hottest team in baseball. Their win streak getting snapped over the weekend, but they have been red hot against a Guardians team that's starting to play a lot better. 25-21 on the season. Two good pitchers, Bailey Ober for the Twins, Logan Allen for the Guardians. That should be a fun matchup tonight.
Sonny Gray, be sharp, be the ace of the staff. Mets at Fenway against Boston, rematch of a classic World Series in 1986. Poor Bill Buckner. Arizona at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers late. And tomorrow morning early, Bama and Mizzou. If Bama wins, it sets up on Wednesday the famed third Wednesday in May baseball matchup of Tennessee and Bama.
Oh, man.
Coffee table books replete with the history of that.
I mean, tomorrow, the college baseball going to be fun. First games starting at 8 a.m. in the ACC, ending the night 8 p.m. So that's going to be a fun all-day affair in college baseball. But a lot of good action tonight. Going to be fun tomorrow, like I said, with college baseball. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.